SharkyBreath.
He plays video games.
Hello, and welcome back to Disco Elysium. I am glad to see that this purple orb is still here, because when I ended the episode last time, that popped up right after I hit the end recording button, and I was like, oh shoot, is that still going to be there when I load up? And yes, indeed it is. Now, I'm going to have to review what we got going on here, because it's been a week, because my body failed me entirely for a while there, but it's good to be back. We're almost to the end, I'm pretty darn certain. But first things first, let's have a look at this purple orb.
Honourable one, you have accumulated a substantial amount of honour points on your life path. You are a man most virtuous.
I did notice that there were honor points in my ledger, but I didn't realize there was going to be authority who was going to speak up about it. Wait, there were honor points? There were. I only try my best, is the most any of us can do. Hold your horses, this is a mistake. Honor is meaningless to me. I guess we'll do the wait option.
Of course there were honour points. Did you think no one was paying attention to all of your honourable deeds, Honourable one?
Right, but the thing is that you're me, one facet of my personality, and therefore you're not really proving a point, but it's okay. I do only try my best. It is the most any of us can do.
Oh, the modesty on this one. Another 10 honour points for you, sir.
It's starting to feel like you're being maybe a bit sarcastic here. Continue.
You are on the fast track to becoming one of the rarest, most revered of all police officers, an honour cop.
Honor cop? There's actually a coppa trope for the honor system? Isn't honor sort of an archaic concept? My honor is my life. I don't want this. I really don't care about honor at all. Well, let's go ahead and think harder about it. That's usually what I do. Is it sort of an archaic concept?
Living in the name of virtue and doing noble deeds while expecting nothing in return is not archaic. How can you even think that?
I can think a lot of things. You might be surprised.
Selflessness forms the basis for the warrior code, an ageless code, as fit for nomadic Ilmaran tribes traversing the vast red plateau in Provincia Gordi, as it is for your neighborhood postman.
A warrior code, you say? I do feel like a warrior. This whole thing is beginning to sound very me. It sounds rather arrogant, a secretive self-regard. I mean, given that I am keeping track of my own honor, that is fairly arrogant. It doesn't say opt out on the box. Given that I didn't opt out on it immediately, I'm guessing that it's too late to do so. I'm hoping it is, because I want to see where this goes, but, it does feel a little arrogant, doesn't it?
No. You see, you're putting the needs of others above yours. You get nothing in return, not even praise.
Except from you, apparently.
You always get the short, noble end of the stick.
Uh-huh. This is starting to feel a little bit like that pain, the thought I had that made me like pain, but do continue.
Don't think about it too much. Just say it. Are you ready to get knee-deep in honor?
Okay, fine. My honor's my life, I guess.
Yes, your deeds are spoken for you, honorable one. But to fully drape oneself in an eternal cloak of honor, a ritual must be completed. A rite of honor.
I really hate to tell you this, but it may be a little too late for this. A rite of honor, you say? Continue?
Even among the honorable, only the most dignified are deemed worthy. But you, O honorable one, have excelled in honor.
I'll take your word for it. Continue?
Honor comes from deep within you, and to truly know oneself, to know one's honor, one must reach deep within oneself and touch one's honor.
What exactly do you mean by that? Okay.
You need to bring the thumb of your right hand, your sword hand, to your rectum and stick it in there to form the Arch of Honors.
You want me to stick my thumb in my butt? For honor. I don't know where I thought you were gonna go, but that ain't it. What? What? I don't know. Just like that? Outside? What about people? All I've ever wanted was to live with dignity, to die with honor. Stick your thumb in your ass. You're crazy if you think I'm going to stick a finger in my ass. No way! What about people?
People will be in awe, admiring a police officer most honourable, in a sacred ritual of uttermost righteousness.
What are you talking about? Why am I so crazy sometimes? I'm wearing armored gloves. That sounds painful for the uninitiated. I guess I don't remember my past, so I don't know that I am the uninitiated. But, like, I'm in the middle of something here. Does this genuinely only show up in the middle of this interview? Well, hang on. Okay, extract a motive. Why did he do this thing? Why? Okay, admittedly, that is something that I am concerned about. And we've kind of gotten a little bit of an answer, given that he was talking about, Dross here, Mr. Dross, was talking about how basically he just scans the city with his sniper scope on the regular, and when he sees something he doesn't like, he puts a bullet in it. And the question is, how much has he done that? Possibly quite a lot. He was down to his last bullet when this last one happened, apparently, since he can't do it anymore. So yeah, I guess that is what I was doing. Good to be focused on that, I suppose. How are my skill points doing? Look at that. They're quite high. They're quite high. Honor 5. People killed. Hey, it has updated to 4. Look at that. My ledger has been updated, even without me knowing about it in the first place. Good cop, bad cop 50. I don't understand that particular stat. I'm just distracting myself from the part where I have to decide whether or not I'm going to stick my own finger in my own butt directly right now here. Like, how am I supposed to... I mean, admittedly, I'm wearing a trench coat, so, like, it would be a little hard to see what I'm doing, but I feel like... I'm pretty sure this is not a... Like, this is like licking the liquor off of the table. I mean, yeah, I've been often encouraged to do weird things because I can, but, like... I don't... I don't understand why you want me to do this, Authority. And I mean, there have certainly been things that I've just done because it'd be hilarious to see where it goes, but, like, I don't understand this one. Why do you want me to do this? What does this have to do with honor? Am I just purely missing out on something if I decide not to stick my finger in my ass? Are y'all going to be mad at me if I don't do it? Because that happens a lot. I'd be like, I'm not doing that. And then you're all like, why didn't you do it? Because why would I do it? The Arch of Honors. My sword hand. The one that I'm currently holding my gun in. I'm currently holding my gun in it. And I can't change my equipment in the middle of a cutscene like this. That's putting my gun dangerously close to my nethers. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not doing it.
Most dishonourable are those who have known honour, carried honour in their hearts, and then disowned honour. They are the honour fallen.
The honor fallen. I'm an honor fallen now because I didn't stick my thumb in my ass. Continue.
You brought much shame on your family today. Your name will forever be tarnished by this most shameful of deeds. Be forever banished, shameful one.
Okay. Forever banished. What a shame, I guess. Right, well, now that that's over with, I'm gonna go ahead and... Wait a second, I was going to change clothing, but is that a good idea? He's not armed anymore, so far as I know. Like, it's possible he has another gun and I don't know about it, but it really seems like he's just given up. I don't know if there's any point to continuing to be wearing my I can shoot stuff now clothing. But I also don't know what exactly else I would change into. Empathy gear is probably good, I guess, but this guy hates everybody, so what am I exactly being empathic about? It's not going to exactly help here, I don't think. Maybe we just get back to it? Hi, Kim. Right, where were we? Why is this not working? Why is this not working? I can't talk to Mr. Dross anymore. Oh, it's broken.
Minions of capital.
Composure!
What do you want?
The composure thing! The composure thing. Assessing his body language. Okay. So it seems like that's something you need to do last here. What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder? That does seem like an important question to ask. Been looking at anything else you haven't liked? Also an important question to ask. So here's maybe what we do. Maybe we talk through these top couple of options, explore any options that those open up, and then back out, change into composure clothing, assess his body language, and then maybe move to make the arrest. Provided that all goes smoothly, which, you know, who can ever say. Also, he spits in the middle of that. I didn't read it. What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
He looks at the charred wood. What business of that is yours? What business of yours is that? Is the sentence I was trying to say. So you were jealous. Okay, then. Is that what it was? I feel like I'm just trying to get a rise out of him, but maybe I am.
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself. Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore.
So you went ahead and saw to that then. I see. Gotcha. It wasn't that you were jealous, we were just angry that he was enjoying things at all. It wasn't that you wanted to be enjoying things, it was that you wanted him not. Basically, you don't want anybody else to be happy. Your lot in life is miserable and has been for nearly my entire adult life. Like, I'm 44 and you've been out here for 43 years, right? You've been living in the wilderness for as long as I've been alive, miserable the entire time, somehow continuing to exist. And you just hate it when other people are happy, I think. I'm surprised more people didn't die. Continue.
And I wanted to see his head explode.
He nods.
That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second. Writhing.
Uh-huh. Continue.
That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head.
He squints.
Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But
He shrugs.
you can't have everything.
Apparently not. Continue.
The caliber of bullet he used does not do that kind of damage.
Ah. I'm surprised I don't have an option to bring that up, given that I just made that success. How long had you been watching her? Did you have feelings for that woman? I don't feel like that's probably relevant. He doesn't seem to interact with people on the mainland very often. I guess it is relevant though if it's true. I just doubt that it's true. How long had you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinaise. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
So that's when she snuck into town in the first place, then. Continue.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Good question. Continue.
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
Okay. Hiding something in the ruins, or in the water, rather. What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Renee,
Coughs.
and from there to Brut.
How... Were you able to read them? How good is the scope on your rifle? Continue.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
Oh, that makes more sense. Some kind of hidden container on the coast. You looked into it. Right. If he went and actually looked at them, then he would, of course, know what's on them. Let me have a look.
Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually.
Did you do something about it? Or with it? Continue.
Sloppy. We should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
The lieutenant mutters to himself. Continue.
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to phone. Oh, I mean,
He seems confused momentarily. Fawn. Villiers, Cashabroom. What does Fawn have to do with that? I don't know. Moving on, did you continue watching her after this? Proceed.
I did.
He almost smiles.
She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating.
And you liked watching her for that reason? Continue.
I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
Okay, and you were watching to see if you could see that, maybe? Apparently not, but continue.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
Continue.
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
Uh-huh. Continue.
He's setting it up for you.
Does seem to be.
The bruises. You can't make that out in a scope.
And you can see her bruises through the scope of a rifle.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
He shakes his silver gray head. Look at all this. Reaction speed, challenging 12. How does he know those minute details about her body? Well, I suspect I can guess where this is going. +1, footprints in the dust. +2, could have changed shoes. +1, found the peephole. Oh, man. Did you actually, like, creep into the friggin' back rooms and watch through the peephole as she... Ugh. All right. Well, may as well just go ahead with it.
It quickly comes to you.
The bruises on her body. Any chance you've seen them through a hole in the wall? Ever see her through a window on a roof? I'm pretty sure it's the hole.
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
He smacks his lips. Man, oh man. Okay, continue.
Did you make that hole?
Continue.
With a clip point knife.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Continue.
Good for listening in, too. For hearing the moaning and the snorts.
I assume so, yes. Did you ever see her through a window on a roof?
Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass.
He nods. You've been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags. Those were your footprints there. You just changed your shoes. Move on. Yeah, I mean, pretty much yes. Pretty much that.
I've been through all of Martinaise. Every nook and cranny.
And that too.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works.
He shakes his head almost in awe. He explains, funny the way light works. Is that an explanation? What are you explaining? Continue.
You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in.
Ah, that.
I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
He keeps shaking his head. Continue.
Those two took the cake.
Apparently, yes. Continue.
You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you.
Yes, Kim? Continue.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
Then at the man. Continue.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
But how did you get the key to... It was locked. Continue.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
Yeah, that.
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
He points towards the whirling in rags. Continue.
And he found use for it. A spare key. like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
Right, but presumably not the same one. Do you have feelings for that woman, or so in conclusion it wasn't about him, it was about her? I don't think it's going to be as just clean cut as having feelings for that woman, but let's go ahead and ask, I guess.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
He sighs. Continue.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Is he? Continue.
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
He looks to the city. There have been others? Was that why you left the dried flowers behind her window? One more thing about this woman. Have there been others?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
I assume that's true, but you're being kind of creepy about it. Was that why you left the dried flowers behind her window?
No.
He starts to shake his head again. A sunflower on a withered stalk. Why, then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of our room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
Man, because she figured she was, not being watched. Because she figured she had some privacy to let out her inside emotions. And the whole time you're just watching. It feels like a giant violation. When was this?
The day after I killed him.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you brought her Maybells.
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
I feel like I've had that particular conversation option in a lot of interactions. I don't know why I do the things I do. He looks at the charred logs. You wanted to console her. You wanted to manipulate her. Say nothing. What he was doing was creepy and manipulative for sure, but I don't know if you wanted to manipulate her is definitely what is going on here. I don't know what he... You wanted to console her, maybe? Maybe you felt some kind of guilt for prying into her life constantly, for bringing this event that you brought upon her. I don't know that... I don't approve of the way this guy did things, but I don't know that you wanted to manipulate her is necessarily the case. It feels more like a conciliatory effort, but ugh. I guess I'll just say it, though.
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you.
He lowers his head and just stares at the logs. Continue.
If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
I assume that is true. He wipes his eye. Continue.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more.
So in conclusion, it wasn't about him. It was about her.
Her.
He repeats, staring at the ashes, then the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye. Continue.
You hear a low-frequency hiss, barely, beneath the audible spectrum. Then it's gone.
A low-frequency hiss? What could that be? I only barely succeeded, and my perception's amazing. Beneath the audible spectrum, despite the fact that I just heard it. Continue.
The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
So we have a motive. Continue.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
The old man looks at you. She got away. We don't know where she is. She got away, but she let us here first. She figured out someone was watching her from the sea fort. We arrested her. Lie. I am not at liberty to say. This one, isn't it? She did lead us here. She left that string. Is there any point in withholding the information from this guy? Is Kim going to be mad if I go ahead and spill the beans on this one? Sure, it makes us look incompetent, but this guy doesn't care about procedures. He's not going to go, like, reporting. He might make fun of us. I'm doing this one.
Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week at the island, like she knew.
He looks at the city and nods, and he sighs at the end there. I was actually, it sounded like an inhale, so I was waiting for the exhale. That's why I was silent for a minute there. Continue.
She'd look at night, crying or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter.
He adds to no one in particular. Continue.
Midtown, across the Bay of Revachol, the oceanic wind washes 40-story towers. Above them, Lucerne Central Aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the sky by a web of suspension wiring, encircled by hybrid aircraft.
Run that by me again. The oceanic wind washes 40-story towers in the Bay of Revachol. Above them, Lausanne Central Aerodrome. Sure, the aerodrome. Yes, got it. Look north.
On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still, she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghost of the city she's leaving, for another, far south.
That's Claude's on her way out. Or whatever she is called now. Continue.
Smaller, distant, hidden, not like the great chandelier she sees sparkle in the night below her. Streetlights, towers, tenements, and water, and across it, a dark strip of ruins, barely visible, if she didn't squint her eyes.
Continue.
He knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out, day by day, cigarette by cigarette.
I wonder when she'd figured out entirely. Continue.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
The lieutenant uses the opportunity to tell you in a lowered voice. Continue.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years?
This is bringing us around to that, what else did you not like when you saw it? Continue.
Enough. Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
Physical instrument wants us to be done. I'm going to go ahead and ask. I don't know if it's the right thing to do, but... Been looking at anything else you haven't liked?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
He shakes to life. Continue.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back.
Continue.
The familiar put of hatred.
More specifically? Yeah, wait. We have more serious things to discuss. More specifically?
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinaise is the worst.
He shakes his head in grave disgust. How come?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinaise. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries.
He points inland. I did encounter a lot of racists out there. One of them was me. Continue.
Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare, I assume you're referring to, given that's the one option I've got here, but it's surprising that you don't know about the other Mr. Clare, if that's the case.
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
Mind you, it's been exploded. And so it's a little more... I don't know. It's a ridiculous thing to exist, but under the circumstances. But, like, the fact that it's been exploded and rebuilt, but still appears to be exploding all the time, I feel like grants it a little more meaning than maybe it initially had. I don't know if that has anything to do with Mr. Clare himself, though. Everard. Anything more, or let him finish, do not interrupt. What difference is it going to make? Does he care what I do? I mean, he's just spewing more bile. This is just prompting him to finish anyway. Just let him spew, I guess.
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinaise proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins.
Continue.
Intense, like animals, like those boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
He points to the church. He keeps shaking his head with sorrow for the sight he missed. He wanted to see them die from their own stupidity. Of course he did. That's all, or nod? I'm going with that's all. I don't want to encourage him in this particular mess. I mean, maybe being quiet and letting him finish was encouraging him in a way. But I like those. I like the kids from the ice. I came around on the kids from the ice. I don't think this guy would. I'd say they're pretty good once you get to know them, but I don't think that he's interested in anything like that. That all?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no.
Huh. No, that's not all? Continue?
The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day.
Renee.
It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins, too.
He's dead, you know. If you're watching everything, how do you not know that? Continue.
Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Koyamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Man, this guy is poisonous. I mean, I didn't much like Renee's worldview either. But how much do you think about this? How did you survived this 43 years entirely out of spite? Because you consider yourself the last Revacholian, the last Martinaisian communist. And you betrayed your principles once and can never allow it to happen again, but... Oh man, how did you exist like this? Say nothing.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt, Frisell, is now dead.
That's all they really want, huh? And how do you know that? Of course you don't know that. It's this poisonous rhetoric that you've been feeding yourself for 43 years. Like, yes, the rich are usually not good people. But now you're drawing connections that don't necessarily even exist just to sustain your own hatred, to give you a reason that you're justified in hating them. Now I have some questions about this, or just not. dismissive, or continue to be silent. Potentially agreeing with him that it's good that Frizzell is dead. I have some questions about what? I have a feeling he'll just plow onward even if I do try to interrupt and redirect him onto something else. I'm guessing that's what this is. I don't have further questions, so I guess just nod.
We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores...
What follows is ominous mumbling. You cannot make out a single word. Okay, continue.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter.
Yeah, it does seem that way, doesn't it? Continue.
There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people. Might be worth investigating.
Yeah, okay. Disco whores. There was something about the statue on the roundabout and syphilis? You mentioned the Union is a social democrat, and Mr. Clarifarce of a social democrat. By the cock parading in his colorful uniform, you mean Renee. I'm glad we talked about this. Now, okay, so this doesn't have a conclude option, but I'm going to go ahead and guess that it's going to let me pursue most of this. I don't know if it's worth... If he hates the disco movement that much, I suspect it's not going to go anywhere productive to ask him about it, but I guess let's go ahead and ask him about it.
Horse.
Is all he says. Even that word has to be pushed through his teeth with great force. The rage seethes too hard. Okay. There was something about the statue on the roundabout and syphilis?
Syphilis is a disease Philip III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination.
He fires quickly. Abomination?
The bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb.
He sure does. He breathes in with a wheeze of hatred. So, you blame his destructive and irresponsible behavior on having syphilis? Doesn't it... I guess it's because you're so you have so much disdain and hatred for what's the word I'm looking for? Sexual miscreants, the way that you view them. It's just, it makes sense to you if by his I can't think of the word. Lascivity? Lasciviousness. If due to that, it made him act in irrational fashions that then were destructive not only to the nation but also to him, that would make sense to you, I guess? It seems to make more sense if he was just acting that way because he had too much money, and having too much money does weird things to your brain, but what do I know? Continue.
That is technically possible, although Philippe III was not actually syphilitic. He was just mad.
Well, there you go then. Okay. He was just mad. You heard it here first. Continue.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues, too. Hundreds of them.
But it's still there.
What a keen remark.
He sputters.
Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why?
Because you forgot to take it down. Because the king is holy and his statues are indestructible. Say, because the king is holy and his statues are indestructible, but mean it ironically. Because cynical advertising yuppies erected a deconstructed version of it. I don't know. I mean, that's the literally correct answer here. But I'm sure he has his own opinion as to why it is, and it's probably going to be blaming the people for being inert. Let's go ahead and be factually correct and miss the point rhetorically.
That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest working-class plastic explosives. And there it is again.
He shakes his head in disgust.
Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yekokata.
Man, we're gonna get along famously, you and I, huh? The one thought that one of the only ones that I never did away with. I mean, I guess technically this has been the first thought in my brain the entire time, and this has been here since the beginning as well, but I still have an actual art degree. I mean, I guess I don't get rid of it if I dismiss the thought. That's not really how it works. I have 6 skill points? Why do I have so many skill points? I mean, I guess I'm getting a lot of skill points just talking to him here, accomplishing the main goal of the game, suffering through his tirade of hatred. My brain tried to combine 2 different words. I was going to say, like, tribide or something. I don't even know where I was going with that. Maybe I should just spend some points on something? Bolster something I'm bad at? I don't know. Let's have a point in Inland Empire. Yeah. Did it. I still have 5 skill points. Throw one in Shivers. It's that thing that you said you were going to do, and then you didn't do it. Now you've done it. Congratulations. Anyway, you were saying, continue.
Wait, the bullet hole in Philippe's heart. The statue had been shot. That was him.
That makes a lot of sense, reaction speed. Of course it was. Surprising he wasted a bullet on it. Continue.
It had to be. He's already proven capable of taking a far more complicated shot from here.
It was you. You shot the statue. There was a bullet hole in his heart. That's it for the statue, then. Tell me, Mr. Dross. No, I'm going to go ahead and mention it.
I did. A needless, sentimental gesture. I should have spared the bullet for a deformed monster of liberal capitalism. Shameful, really.
He nods. Continue.
Yes, shameful. So many others to punish over the years. Isn't that right, detective?
The lieutenant takes a quick note and then turns to you. That's it for the statue, then. Tell me, Mr. Dross.
The fat union man let them put it there. Corrupt as he is. Probably got a fat check for it, too. Shared with the law.
No comment. Continue.
He keeps having opinions about the union's leadership.
He does. I suppose that's an indication that I should go ahead and talk about the Union now? I mean, I was going to anyway. It's next on the list. You mentioned the Union is social democratic, and Mr. Clare a farce of a social democrat.
Another hideous disappointment.
He pokes at the ash.
Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
What do you like? Is there anything you like at this point? Continue.
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the Union's top brass.
He does. Who's a disappointment? Everard Clare?
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
The smart one? Continue.
Edgar.
You mean Edgar, Everard's brother? Doesn't Everard run the Union? Okay, Edgar, sure. Apparently I only barely succeeded at that, so let's go ahead and bring it up. You mean Edgar?
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
The old man chortles with a nod. You've talked to Edgar? Okay, got it. I've got so many opportunities in this entire conversation to just be like, yeah, okay, sure, fine, whatever you say. But I'm going to continue digging, because why not? You talked to Edgar?
First against the wall with him.
He stopped poking at the ash now, just shakes his head. First against the wall with him.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinaise without them knowing.
I guess that's probably true. Huh. So Everard and Edgar knew about you the entire time? And just didn't bring it up? Continue.
Of course. Maybe the Clares asked him to.
Oh. My options here are, have you approached them, or Mr. Dross, did you kill the Crenel mercenary for the Clares? To incite a riot? It was convenient for them. Hadn't considered that aspect. Which makes sense, I guess. I only just found out that he knew them, but... Huh. Let's go ahead and start at the beginning. Have you approached them?
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
Uh-huh. Continue.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf.
He nods to you. Thank you.
He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains.
He points to the path leading to the tower.
Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left. Wouldn't rat me out.
I see. You specifically locked the door because, of course, we're the police and we represent the moralist government. Makes sense, makes sense. Continue.
I was right about one of those things.
He shrugs. That he wouldn't rat you out, but he wasn't a man of the left? When was this? What did you talk about? So when was this?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
Continue.
That's around the time the Clares came to power.
Wow, they picked up on his presence that quickly, huh? Well, what did you talk about?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform.
Kind of are.
Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzov.
Continue.
Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzov.
He suddenly remembers.
Oh, and charity, too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
Gotcha. And he let you be here? I suspect you're not going to appreciate the wording of that much, but sure, let's go ahead and float the question.
Let me be here?
Told you.
The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
He looks around. Continue.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Because of this. Mr. Dross, did you kill the Crenel mercenary for the Clares to incite a riot?
You know why I killed that fucker, Duat.
He shakes his head.
As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? Okay, what have you done for him in the past?
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Uh-huh.
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
He coughs. Continue.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them. But he's insinuating something.
Right. Logic, legendary 14. What was the deal between him and Edgar? 83%. +1, why did 4 women Tiffane Holly withdraw? +2, he shot the statue. +2, talked to Everard about previous 4 women. Do you think if I leave this menu, I'll be able to come back to it? I could change into some logic gear if I want to make sure I make that red check, but I'm not confident that I'll be able to come back to it. 83% chance is pretty good, but I have failed easier checks. Is it worth agonizing over it? I have 4 skill points. I could just put 1 in logic. It's technically one of my weak points. Let's put 1 point in logic and see what happens, yeah? Where does that put me at? 92%? Pretty good. Pretty good. Let's do it.
The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
20 years ago when you met Edgar, the Clares didn't run the Union yet, did they? Oh, that actually tracks really well, doesn't it?
Hey.
A sputter from the old man.
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
Who did?
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name.
He narrows his eyes.
Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation.
Continue.
And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
His eyes glisten suddenly with hatred. She was also a woman, wasn't she? Like that Claudia. And then she just disappeared. Are we implying that... I mean, yes, we are. We're implying that... was it Tiffine? Is that how you pronounce it? Tiffine Holly was one of the previous... the ones who came before. Let's go ahead and bring it up.
She was. And she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muscova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work.
And then she just disappeared.
Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
He squints and smiles at the black logs. What actually happened?
No, that's not quite it, is it?
Continue.
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
The lieutenant's voice is calm. He wouldn't bother mentioning that if it wasn't for the fact that he, maybe, is not as calm as his voice suggests. Continue.
No, I guess it was not.
You could swear you see the embers glow again under his eyes on the dust. Edgar had someone make the call. Why is that, Mr. Druss? Can't imagine.
She couldn't make the call herself.
Yeah. Yeah, funny about that.
Here it is, the bend in the river.
Why?
Because she was dead.
Of course she was. Of course she was. Continue.
Just say nothing.
How come or say nothing? Rhetoric's the communist one. That's why it's suggesting I don't challenge it, huh? Because I know perfectly well why. He was disgusted with her. He was disgusted with her, and the Clares wanted her position. And Edgar stumbled across a guy convenient to their purposes, and so they had her assassinated. But here's the thing. Even if I know the answer, I have to ask, don't I? I'm the police. How come?
Because the cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal, grasping her tit, and drowned. Or bled. Hard to say. It was a sloppy job, on a moving target.
Continue.
She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins were black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal.
You like to criticize people's body types a lot, don't you? But if she hadn't been physically unappealing to you, I know what you would have done otherwise, so... doesn't give you much of a leg to stand on. Continue.
Heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her, and the ruins.
You killed her? You shot her. It was you. Make a motion like shooting a rifle. Shot, not killed. My brain said it earlier. I guess I'll go ahead and stick with it.
Someone shot her.
He
Or
shrugs.
maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes. All I know is
His eyes grow cold suddenly.
nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
I mean, there's technically something ostensibly coming of it right now. But it's just going to be more blood, isn't it? Continue.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal.
Apparently not. A sputter again. Nothing more.
If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk.
Could he? Kim? The lieutenant says it in a voice even calmer, as if it were nothing at all. Oh, man, but here's the thing, Kim. Number one, he's already given up. He expects to die. He wants to die. He's done what he came to do, and he's done with it. Number two, he's already explained he hates deal makers. People who don't stand by their principles when presented with exactly this sort of an offer. There's not a chance in hell he's accepting this. Continue.
We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
Continue.
A degenerate worker state. Goat shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian.
He spits.
My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
He coughs. But you did do it. Okay, then, that's that. Point to your head. But I know. He's not going to admit to it. He specifically isn't going to admit to it, and it doesn't... Even if I say this, give him one more opportunity to admit, he's not going to do it. This is almost kind of condescending in a way, but, well, he's not giving much to work with here. And I do know, so.
All you know is I saw it happen, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Her plump body bobbing up and down in that canal like a cork. That chick yellow bag still on her, strangling her.
Cold black coals look at the canal, then at you. Blink.
The same old freezing hatred.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and ask about Renee. I'm sure this ought to be pleasant. By the cock parading in his colorful uniform, you mean Renee?
Every fucking morning for 34 years.
He grinds his teeth in rage.
Ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June.
You have strong opinions about just about everything, huh? Continue.
Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A Patank maniac race traitor.
He makes the sound of the balls connecting. Just nod. Now, I don't know about that. Whoa, whoa, let's back off before you get too agitated. This will get him more agitated. This is probably the right option to choose in order to have him just continue talking, but he is just continuing to spew bile, and I'm apparently encouraging it. There's no point in trying to do this. He's already agitated as much as... I mean... What's the point, right? I'm bringing up topics that I specifically know are going to get him agitated. Why would I back off at this point? Just nod.
I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him, personally. His make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one.
He points to his black eye. Which one? I thought they were both. I'm going to continue.
That one.
With his shaky finger, he points to the city, toward the crater near the plaza where a lonely pine tree stands. And where presumably Gaston is still sitting nearby, quietly mourning his friend. And his enemy, but it was complicated, it always is. Continue.
There doesn't seem to be a single person under the pine today. Not even Gaston. Alone.
Where'd he go? There's no one there.
Fat and plump, like a pheasant. Just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
He does not hear you. A grin stretches across his face and he says very softly. He fantasizes about Renee begging for him to kill him. You'd like to kill him? Let's definitely back off now. Calm down. Maybe there'll be consequences for driving him into a little bit of a frenzy here, but sure, you'd like to kill him then?
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bomb melt in my mouth.
So there are still things he likes. They are murdering people he doesn't like. The smile lingers. Continue.
Save the treat for later?
Lieutenant asks cheerfully.
He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat for the black day. The blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think. No, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, Renee. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel.
He lets out a wistful sigh.
Better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one. For him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood.
The lines on his face straighten as he looks inland. Renee is dead. He died of old age a couple of days ago. Bad arthritis, yes, he's not playing this week. Lie. Anyway, tell me something else, Mr. Dross. Huh. You can lie to him to not have him know that he missed his opportunity to kill Renee. But he's already given up all hope of what he was doing here. Renee's dead.
No.
Yes, just kidding. No. Yes.
I waited too long. I waited too long, and now he's dead?
The old communard looks at you, his blackberry eyes shaking in disbelief. Continue.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
The lieutenant says softly. Wow, it's like a parallel of the conversation with Gaston, but... like... it's... oh. Gaston played ball with Renee for all those years. And always, they were at each other's throats because they disagreed so intrinsically, but they had so much shared history that it was a love-hate relationship. But then there's this guy fantasizing about killing him for 34 years? But never actually killing him. Dread Pirate Roberts. Huh. How's he going to react to this? Continue.
They're all dead now. Fuck it.
He just shakes his head. Well, that seems in character.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
I assume that's true. You had 1,000 chances to kill him. You cared about him? I'm sorry. Are you okay, Mr. Dross, to go on? I wish I could go through all these options. Let's just go with the logic one then. You had 1,000 chances to kill him.
And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust.
You cared about him?
All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. And now, God damn this world.
A little flash of anger. I'm sorry,
Fuck you.
the old communard says, staring at the ground, seemingly to the island you're on. Are you okay, Mr. Druss, to go on?
You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
Continue.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange is keeping him together, making him endure.
No doubt. I'm glad we talked about this. Now,
Glad we talked about what?
another erratic gesture. He's trembling. I want to ask you again about the people you don't like. I don't think... Okay, so I did have the opportunity to get back into that menu. But now it's time for the composure check. So, backing out. Composure clothing. Let's see what I got. Hang on. Composure shoes. You think he'd appreciate it if I wore Renee's uniform in front of him? I think maybe not. Maybe don't do that. Windbreaker, huh? Wow, I don't know that I knew about the colorful patterns down the sleeves on this thing. Composure jeans. Ah, the anorak. Let's put the anorak on instead of the windbreaker. It's like the windbreaker, but instead of minus the shivers, it's plus the shivers. Also, wow, it covers up most of my face. Look at that. I suppose it's good for protection from the elements. All right, composure +3, no minuses to speak of. I have 3 skill points and half of another one. I could put a skill point into it if I wished. Let's go back in there and have a look at what we're dealing with. Mr. Dross?
The old man stares despondently at the logs. It's like he's forgotten you're there.
It really, really upset him finding out Renee is dead. Maybe I should have kept it to myself, I don't know. But I didn't. Let's just push it up over 90%. I have no reason to hesitate. I have so many skill points and there can't be that much left. Except 92%, sure. +1 disturbed motorics, right. Yes. Assess his body language.
What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. For a man who's spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild,
He is surprisingly okay. Wait, 44 years? I'm 44 years old, aren't I? Is that not... Have you been in the wild, in the urban wild, my entire life? He's surprisingly okay.
indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated.
He does. Animated by what?
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system.
Dementia? I don't think so, but that's the only option I have to bring up, so let's bring it up and see what my brain has to say.
You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile.
Mr. Dross, are you okay? How is your memory? Finish the examination. He's gonna appreciate this, I guarantee it.
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
He waves his hand, chasing something that's not there.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course.
Right. The simple answer is he's driven by hatred, but is it possible to live 44 years in the wilderness on hatred alone? I mean, he's done it. I'm going to change clothes back to make the arrest. Give me a second. There we go. I don't know if that's, strictly speaking, is necessary, but I also want to recenter that. There we go. Camera. Now
The old man stares despondently at the logs. It's like he's forgotten you're there.
I'm driven to click this just to make it not highlighted anymore, but it's just going to be another menu I've already seen, right? Let's just make sure. Let's make sure.
His lip curls into a sneer at the memory.
Right.
Glad we talked about what?
I mean, admittedly, this time we didn't talk about anything, so fair point. Josef Leonovich Dross, you're under arrest for the murder of Ellis Courtenaire.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The old man's eyes fill with sudden, unexpected terror at the words. I said you would be taken to the what? What did I say? Continue?
This terror is the sum of all the uncontrollable movements and mood swings he's been exhibiting.
Uh-huh, continue.
The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues, like an incantation.
Like an exorcism, almost. Continue.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand?
Continue.
Do you understand?
But...
Kim, he's afraid. Do you understand, sir? Of course he's afraid. I don't fully understand it. I guess he expected us to kill him. And we haven't. He resolved himself that he was facing the end of everything, and instead, it's still going. And he's not going to be in control of his own fate anymore. I know he's afraid. Every situation that we've run into like this in the past, if I started it out, Kim would back me up. Kim is backing me up again. I can't. This is the culmination of the case. We can't not arrest him. I don't know if it will stop Krenel from retaliating against the murder of the 3 mercenaries. But we've got to do our jobs. This is the one time it absolutely matters. Do you understand, sir?
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead.
Continue.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
The lieutenant turns to you. First say, does it have room for 3? Perception, hearing, legendary. 14, wait. Interesting. I have to make this check, no matter what. Is there any point in saying, does it have room for 3? It's going to have to, right? We have no other way to... Unless... Just say it.
Not really. We could escort him to the pier, then either one of us can take him inland while the other stays here, but...
He shakes his head. Continue.
But then, who watches him while you're coming back here?
Who watches him there while I come back for you? This is not a problem. It's the fox and the chickens and the boat on the river problem. That, yes. Who does watch him there?
You come back for me? How about I go and send a boat back for you?
Okay, send a boat. Oh, Lillian! Maybe, continue.
What is this farce? This is a fucking farce. I can't.
He looks around with strange desperation. Continue.
Lillian. You could ask her, maybe.
Maybe I can just ask that net picker to watch him? Or we can have her pilot her own boat back to the island. Why is this why are we saying that she can keep an eye on him? That's backwards. Sure, fine.
This is no harmless old man.
The lieutenant shakes his head.
This fucking world. This world. What is this?
He stares at something, who knows what, in the dust.
No, listen. Listen now.
Right. Okay. Perception wants me to listen. So stop this farce, essentially, and just listen. Okay, let's just listen. I can technically boost that up to a 97% chance, can't I? I hardly need to spend points on perception, but let's just make sure that I can't roll a 3 and fail this at the last minute, right? Do it. Listen.
There it is again.
I rolled a 4.
To your north, as it has been since you came to the coast. The reeds whisper, stalks rubbing against each other. But then, in the middle of it...
I've just remembered that in the middle of that interview last time, the city spoke up in my head and said that things are not as they seem. Is that what I'm hearing now? What?
Something completely different. It sounds like a bow, very slowly being drawn against the strings of a violin. A very small violin, made of reeds and rushes.
A very small violin?
Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat.
And then it's gone, drowned out by the lieutenant's voice. Shush, Kim, did you hear that? Okay, so you're saying we can all fit in there? No, we're listening.
What?
Continue.
What are you talking about? Is this really us?
The old man's voice drowns in a sudden gust of wind. Continue.
Your skin crawls.
What's going on? Ah! The fasmid! It's the fasmid!
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
Blink, or what is that? Point to it. I know what it is. I know what it is. Why is it not running? Why is it exposing itself? Blink? Blink.
It's still there, an unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin, hovering in place.
What is that? Point to it.
What are you talking about?
The old man looks at the reeds, then at you. The giant stick insect. I don't know what the hell that is. The giant stick insect.
There's nothing there.
He looks confused. Continue.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head.
It's got a profile picture. Look at all the eyes on this thing. Continue. It's moving so much, how can they possibly not see it?
You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand rise instinctively.
I see it. I've finally gone insane. Put your head in your hands. It's there though.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Kim, can you see it?
I can see it.
He can see it. Continue.
4 simple words, thank God. If he can see, then you're not insane.
And I'm not insane. Continue.
But that means
Continue.
it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence. Its limbs long and slender.
Continue.
Be very, very careful.
The lieutenant whispers, then takes a step toward the giant arthropod. Inspect the phasmid. Inspect the phasmid. Go to it carefully. It may be dangerous. Approach the insect first. Get close to it. Okay? End? Okay? Okay?
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from his head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you.
Continue.
Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss,
The hiss from
like
earlier.
a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks.
Continue.
The hiss is different from the strings you heard before. It says something else in a lower pitch.
Listen carefully. Whisper, this is the insulindian phasmid. Say something to it quietly. Something like, electrochemistry, medium 10. Approach carefully, +3. Lena's childhood experience, +1. The miracle, way out in the west. Retreat slowly, leave. Listen carefully first. Listen carefully. Continue.
You smell.
I smell? What do I smell? Or is it that I smell? This is the insulindian phasmid, obviously. Clearly. What else could it possibly be?
It is.
The lieutenant whispers behind you. You hear the familiar ring of his jacket unzipping, slowly, painstakingly so.
You glance over your shoulder. The lieutenant holds a piece of milled aluminium. He begins to pull it open, extremely carefully. It's the camera.
How are you going to take a photo of this? You can only see it because it's moving. Otherwise it looks exactly like the reeds around us. Maybe from below it like this, it'll be able to be visible, but no one will accept it as proof of anything. Except for maybe Lena, if we can ever see her again. Continue.
No, the flash will scare the creature off. Warn him now.
Kim whispered, the flash is loud. It won't like that. Whisper, are you sure it won't scare it off? The flash is loud. Yeah, let's do that one.
We need a photo. No one will believe us.
He continues to pull the lens open. Continue.
From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the phasmid's limbs. A series of ultrasonic clicks fills your ear.
Okay, take the picture. Stop. Let me approach it first. This could be all over if the flash scares it away. Then let me try and stop him.
I won't be one of those fools who didn't take a picture.
He has stopped fiddling with the camera, but does not put it down.
You see the fasmid turn to him, its mandible antennae reaching out. Its motions are quick, sudden.
Who cares what they think, Kim? I have the pheromone. I can approach it. Just listen to me. I do have the pheromone. I do have the pheromone.
I don't think the pheromone will do anything.
His whisper turns to a skeptical hiss, but he had stopped now.
The spindly mechanism turns itself back to you, its antennae taking their measure of the air, slowly.
Say something to it quietly, something like... Okay. Do we jump straight to approaching, or do we speak to it? Something like what? I have one skill point left. I could throw it in electrochemistry to make this a full 97% chance to approach it. And then I'll be on my own entirely at the whims of the game. I just, as long as saying something to it quietly doesn't make it so I can't try to approach. I convinced Kim not to take the picture. Okay. Are we just going down the line? We're going down the line. We're going down the line. Hey, don't be afraid. You exist. You exist, I guess?
A sudden chirrup fills the air. The walking stick moves its whole body, limbs working independently of each other, like the parts of a masterfully constructed machine.
Oh no, what's this? Continue.
It moves just an inch closer to you. Or does it only feel like it does?
Continue?
Something in its body language has changed, just slightly.
Has it? Huh. I wonder what that means. Do it. I've held this stat in nothing but disdain this entire time, but if I put 1 point in it, then I have only a 3% chance of failure. I can't make it less than that. Approach carefully. Thank you.
Slowly, with your breath held, you take 2 small steps toward the fasmid. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows.
Which kind of swallows are we referring to here? Continue.
Like laughter, a sort of happiness.
Continue.
Sweat drips from your brow, soaking your chest. You reek of it, your chemical.
I assume you're right.
Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antennae to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned by reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water.
Raise your hand slowly. Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am. Whisper, okay, Kim, take the picture. Disengage slowly. Raise your hand first, I guess.
The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you.
Continue.
Suddenly, there is silence.
Raise the other hand too. Put your hand down. Raise the other one too.
As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independent of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. They are white, like stalks of porcelain, knitting above you,
Continue.
praying to you.
Whisper, that's right. Pray. Don't pray to me, I'm nothing. Put your hands down instead. It's imitating my gesture? Praying to me? Why am I so remarkable to this? Just accept it, that's right. Pray, I guess. I don't know. It feels arrogant. It feels like the superstar thing, but maybe it's not. I don't know. This course of thought hasn't gotten me anywhere productive in the entire game, and this is just ending it. So I guess...
Unwittingly, the insect continues its stridulations. As it moves, tuft-like structures still pretending to be plants rustle along on its joints.
Continue.
Perhaps it is preparing to eat its god.
That would be a heck of a way to go, Half-Light. Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am.
No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you.
Stand on your tiptoes and look more closely or back off. Look, every time it's asked me if I wanted to look more closely, I've looked more closely. We look more closely.
You were right. Little bubbles form on the mouth parts of the creature, on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming, slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish.
What could that be? Continue.
The faintest smell, like you've never felt before. Like burnt roses.
Kim, it's foaming.
Careful. It may be poisonous.
The lieutenant watches you apprehensively.
The foam slowly turns a darker shade, like burnt caramel, as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst, one by one.
Continue.
Letting out that same smell, like summer burning.
Continue.
Apricot blossoms, white blossoms erupting, a sensation like cold hands on your face.
So we have the option to let Kim take the picture. And we have a white check. I don't know how I would possibly retry this, but it's a 97% chance success. Inland Empire, tell me, what are you doing? +1 spoke to the hanged man. +2 did not give up on Fasmid. +1 knows of parthenogenesis. Let's do this first, because the photo might scare it away, as has been always the concern. And if it does, this is all over. So what is it? What are you doing?
I exist.
I had a full-body spasm. It spoke. I exist too. I am a detective. Is this a dream? What is happening? What exactly are you? I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts. That was all. I exist too.
Tell me what it's like for you.
Fire burning. It's wunderbar. I'm ill. If I tell you, what will happen? This is meaningless. Not meaningless, but it's... To a phasmid? How could that mean anything? But then how can I be speaking to it in the first place? If I tell you, what will happen?
Then I will tell you what it's like for me.
For me, it's fire burning. For me, it's wunderbar. I'm ill. Fire burning? Those are my two options, fire or wunderbar. Or just say I'm ill. And the fact of the matter is that I am. And acknowledging it is maybe as much as I can do for myself right now. So maybe we go with that.
What is your illness?
My body aches. I'm bleeding. I'm ill in my head. I'm insane. That's how it is for me. In my heart, for me, it's sadness, input after input. That one.
For me, it is not like that. I have states, not the emotions. For example, I experience excitement and unexpected sugar rewards. But that is not important.
Okay, continue.
Now I will tell you how it is for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness, being intruded upon, transient, dim, moist.
Intruded upon by what?
Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations. A swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms. All speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding.
Even beyond your understanding. Continue.
I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light, it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never ache.
That sounds like something that I would say if I was trying to give you a voice. Is this happening in my head again? You're the type of animal I would like to be. I'm glad to be me, an incredibly sensitive instrument. The fuck is happening to me right now? Excuse me. This is the type of existence that the fasmid is describing here is the type of existence that my limbic system and my primordial reptile brain want for me. Barely interacting with reality at all. Things that filter down to me through the darkness, completely beyond my perception or understanding, and barely impacting my existence whatsoever. I am curious what I would say if I go ahead and questioned this, but it might just break off the entire experience, so I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm glad to be me.
Few of us can begin to imagine the horror of you, with all of creation reflected in your forebrain. It must be like the highest of hells, a kaleidoscope of fire and writhing glass. Eternal damnation.
Wow, that's a heck of a way to look at it. Continue.
Even when you're sleepy, and when you wake, you carry it around on your neck, with eyes open that cannot help but swallow more behind the mirror. I feel great, mute empathy for you.
It's hell, I changed my mind. I want to be you. It was very disorienting at first, but I'm keeping my shit together. So far, I'm trying to.
That must be incredibly hard. The arthropods are in silent and meaningless awe of you. Know that we're watching. When you're tired, when the vision spins out of control, the insects will be looking on, rooting for you.
That's comforting in a way, even if it is meaningless. Continue.
And when you fall, we will come to raise you up. Bud from you, banner-like, blossom from you and carry you apart in a sky funeral, in honor of your passing. But not me, because I'm just a leaf eater.
Thank you? I mean, thank you all in general. Continue.
In honor of your will, Lieutenant Yefreitor, that you kept from falling apart in the face of sheer terror, day after day, second by second.
Alright, continue.
Detective!
Detective, says Inland Empire. Okay, sure, I am a detective.
So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect?
Also that. Rewards and semiochemicals. The killer. I was born to detect you. What do I want to say? Maybe I was born to detect you.
Yes, no one detected me for such a long, long time. For thousands of years, I dithered out of sight, trapped myself in greenery.
But you just presented yourself. You stepped out of the reeds. Or not out of the reeds, but above the reeds. To interact with us. This is my masterpiece, or no, this is just an accident. Is this my masterpiece? From having a ludicrously high perception stat, this is my masterpiece, maybe?
No one believed I exist. Almost no one. Until you came, detective. Dripping off blood that smells like strawberries. Across the calm sea. The first in 1,000 years.
My blood smells like strawberries? Is this a dream? What is happening? Where does this come from? All of this around us, the world. What exactly are you? I have to say goodbye now. I have more thoughts. That was all. Is this a dream? What is happening?
No, you're awake. I am real. Light is forming me. This is real.
How? Where does this come from? All of this around us, the world. It's like what I asked Joyce. I've run into a creature that I have nothing evidently in common with, and so I ask it to explain the world. Where does it come from?
Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lily.
We need to know. Perhaps it's sent to us by a god? Then all we can do is beat our fists against it, day after day, with no answer? I don't... we need to know, I guess?
I think we should eat it. If it's a leaf, you can put it in your mouth. Or read. Yum yum.
Yeah, okay, fair point. Continue.
Wait, so
So you look like a reed, and you eat reeds? Too sensitive of a matter. Is this going to be offensive? I wonder. I've never stopped asking questions before, so I guess we asked the question.
Yes, they don't mind.
Have you accidentally eaten another reed fasmid? Too sensitive of a matter. That is where I thought we were going with this. That is... How are you going to respond if I ask you this? Seems appropriate the music shifted to the creepy part of the track. Have you?
Yes, I once cloned myself and ate the little ones. It was winter, and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident.
The phasmid doesn't have emotions. It specifically mentioned that. Of course it's not offended. That would be an emotion. It had babies once. It accidentally ate them. It just simply answered. What exactly are you?
I am an unknown species of the order Phantasmodia, endemic to the insulindian insula.
How do you know these
For the
words?
last 350 years, I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and boys.
It just occurred to me. The traps are entirely pointless. It's a plant eater. It has no interest in eating locusts or whatever it was that were in the traps. There's no way that can ever succeed. Continue.
No one unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain. Also, by the soldiers of the revolution and officials of the occupation. Even the Martinaise islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me.
But Lena did, didn't she? Continue.
I have stayed hidden through 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the citizen militia in Revachol, district of Martinaise, March 51.
Me. So Lena didn't see you? Or was that a different example of your species? Or are you the miracle?
No. You are the miracle.
I am the... How?
The moral of our encounter is, I am a relatively medium life form, while you are extreme, all-engulfing madness. A volatile simian nervous system, ominously new to the planet.
All-engulfing madness. Continue.
The Pale too came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Nidarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. There is an almost unanimous agreement between the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all.
Wait, the Pale is human-made? I kind of assumed it was, yes. I don't know how, but it does seem to originate with us. I don't have that kind of power. The Pale is human-made?
It is a nervous shadow cast into the world by you, eating away at reality. A great, unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind.
It's been here as long as our minds have been here? And it just took this long to manifest? I don't have that kind of power.
You're a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Give me enough time, you will wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident.
How?
We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing. Only much worse.
Continue.
Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts.
That is certainly true. Conceptualization. Worse how? I don't want to know. I do. Worse how?
Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nose mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if he misplaces us all one day, or just forget?
It's very difficult not to blink when someone asks you not to blink, but I'm going to try not to blink. Blink quick, no. Have I always thought this way? But I want to blink and undo 12 billion years of matter expansion. This is the gloaming I've been waiting for ever since I woke up in the hotel room. I have already forgotten the whole world once when I drank too much. I will be extra careful not to blink, stick insect, don't worry. This is, I have to choose, I only get to choose one of these. If I said this, I would be lying, because of course I have to blink eventually. My eyes don't work like that. Have I always thought this way? What does that mean? Have I always thought, am I suggesting that this is in fact just taking place in my head, despite the fact that it is assuring me that this is real? And that this is how I think about the world? Not how the insects and the birds and the plants think about the world? I'm going to ask it, have I always thought this way?
No, you're only thinking it now. This is a revelation.
This is nihilism. This is Apocalypse Cop, I'm pretty sure. This is wallowing in... No, maybe it's not. Maybe it is, though. Maybe it's wallowing in self-loathing, guilt. And this is an obvious lie. It's unrealistic. Completely impractical. And yet it's the one that I want to choose. Try and comfort the creature without emotions into believing that I won't do a thing that I have to do every couple seconds. By the way that nature works for me. I'm doing it.
Please be. Or one day, one of you will close your eyes and sigh, and open them to see that none of this ever existed.
Kim, am I having a violent epileptic seizure?
It doesn't look like that, no.
What does it look like?
You're just staring at it.
He whispers. Then I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind. Nothing, just looking at the stick insect, nothing, everything is normal. And I don't know if it's a vision about the final fate of mankind, but something is happening here. So I'm not going to take the everything is normal option.
Okay. Is it somehow related to the case?
After a second, Lieutenant asks, because he cannot not wait. Hold up. Hold up. No, there is. There's his head. Sorry, for a second I thought that he was gone. The deserter. Sort of. No, I told you it's about. I told you what it's about. Our fate. The case. The case is meaningless compared to this. Laughed nervously. I have totally transcended the case. Laughing nervously seems appropriate to the scenario. Sort of. What do I say? I guess I have totally transcended the case.
I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species.
You're probably right. I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts, that was all.
No, there is one more.
No, there are no more thoughts. Of all the creatures I've met, you are the kindest. Of all the creatures I've met, you are the scariest. Of all the creatures I've met, you are the most beautiful. I'm going with that one.
Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you. That woman, turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward. Do it for the working class.
For the working class? Is this a communist fasmid? I can't. I will try. I will. What woman? I will. This is the only opportunity I've ever had to say that I will, and I will.
She was middle class. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that.
Okay, Kim. Take the picture.
Okay.
With a slow ring of metal, the lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level. I wish I could ask the phasmid if this was going to be okay. Continue.
There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you.
Continue.
In 3. If it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
The lieutenant whispers. His voice is tense. Please do not shoot the insulindian phasmid Kim Kitsuragi. Continue.
The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The phasmid freezes in its bright light. Head turned toward the lieutenant, hypnotized by the flash. It stands frozen before you.
Continue.
The sweat on your arms feels cold as ice, as if you're frozen as well, in the shadow of this great statue of chitinous marble.
I got it.
You hear the lieutenant's whisper as the creature's shape develops onto photo paper in his hand. A polychrome ghost of white streaks against the reeds and the sky, and you as a shadow before it. Slowly reach out and touch the creature's whisker. Carefully pet its side-like forearm. We got it. Back off. I don't know what will happen if I touch it. It seems like it doesn't wish me any harm, but it also doesn't have emotions, so I don't know what I'm dealing with here. Touch its whisker. See what happens.
The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral, like the tip of a poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertip feels cold, ticklish.
Continue.
It is surprisingly delicate, the curly end of the whisker, like a young vine. It's even a bit wet.
I don't know what a vine is. Continue.
Be careful, detective. It's moving.
Look at your finger. Wipe it off. Look at your finger.
You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen.
Lick your finger? I'm just gonna take my finger and put it on this bug and then put it in my mouth. I mean, that's weird. But hey, I didn't stick my finger in my bottom before, so maybe now it's okay if I lick my finger after touching the insulindian fasmid? I have no idea if this is toxic. Lick your finger? Do I lick my finger? Do I taste the fasmid? How will it take that? How should anyone take that? No one will ever have an opportunity to do this again, maybe. I guess taste the fasmid?
It tastes like sugar, very faint. The anthropod towers above you, tufts of reeds pointing from limb and head alike.
Arthropod, like it says there. But anyway, continue.
Odorless, mostly comprised of water.
Carefully pet its side-like forearm.
The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push could tip the creature over. Its hollow exoskeleton collapsing.
Please do not do that. Continue.
Warning!
Run your hand up the slender limb higher or pull your hand away. Reaction speed warning. I'm going to go ahead and pull my hand away because I got a warning for my reaction speed. I'm gonna assume that's what it's saying. Pull your hand away.
A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening, wave by wave from its stupor.
Okay, continue.
Some sort of countdown process is happening. That's all you have time to think.
I see. Well, then let's back off. We got it. Back off.
Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of its eyes do not stray from you.
How can I tell? Disengage slowly.
As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping on the water, the long limbs carrying its feather weight without breaking its surface.
How is that possible? Continue. And there it goes. And I'll never see it again.
And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water.
Continue.
And something under it, in the place it stood, bobbing there, among the reeds, a collection of items.
What do you mean? Continue.
It's gone.
The lieutenant looks north, with his hand raised to his brow. It can walk on water. What's that in the reeds? What now, Leave? It can walk on water?
Apparently, yes. Like a water strider. Only, I've never seen anything like that in my life.
He shakes his head with amazement. Yeah, me neither. What's that in the reeds?
Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look.
Maybe we should be real careful. He squints. What now? Leave.
What now?
The old man behind you repeats suddenly. He's put his hand into the ash. It's dirty and black. Continue.
In some kind of strange, semi-catatonic state.
Right, continue.
Our suspect is not looking so good. We need to check on him.
Okay, all right. Well, let's examine the nest real quick first, I guess. Oh! Fairweather T500 helmet. Plus 1 half-life, minus 1... Half-light, rather. Minus 1 suggestion. T932 rifle scope. Okay. I guess let's have a look at these things I just picked up out of a random box floating in the reeds. Okay, helmet. Here it is. Fairweather T500 helmet. This monstrous-looking, bug-eyed ceramic helmet was in the phasmid's nest. It still has some reeds sticking out of it, and it smells of seawater, but it's otherwise wearable, if not exactly comfortable. Putting it on feels scary somehow. Plus 1 half-light. Head as battering ram. Minus 1 suggestion. A fighter, not a lover. And then... Oh, I didn't have a chance to look at this earlier. The Triangong 446. The bolt-action 446 caliber Triangong is the poor man's sniper rifle. While not the most reliable of firearms, it is relatively precise due to a very manageable recoil, thus allowing the shooter to take multiple consecutive shots fast. This particular piece is missing a scope, though. And here's the scope. T932 rifle scope. A common 30mm sniper scope attachable to almost any bolt-action 446 caliber. It uses an older-style non-dotted range-finding reticle. Seaweed is still stuck on the lens, and it suffered water damage from its time in the phasmid's dowry. Excuse me. I can't just, like, bonk. No, of course not. I don't know why I thought that would work. Okay. Why is this still acting like there's something I haven't seen in here? What else is there that you're not telling me? There's nothing. There's nothing. Okay. Inspect the phasmid. Phasmid's gone. Check up on the deserter now. Okay, that's part of that task, is it now? Okay. Fine. I guess let's check up on the deserter then. Okay.
What is it? What do you want from me? I can't go.
The old man looks around, confused. Why are you so... Why can't you go? Continue.
Something is very wrong with him now.
Yeah, clearly. Sir, how could you not see the phasmid? I'll leave you be for now. Those are my only 2 options here. How could you not see the phasmid?
See.
He stares at the reeds and falls silent.
Mr. Duras?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed over and bulging from their sockets. His gap-toothed mouth shaking.
Are you telling me that this guy was being controlled by the phasmid in some fashion? That doesn't seem possible. That doesn't even seem in character based on having just spoken with the phasmid. I must be reading this wrong. Snap your fingers under his nose, wave your hand in front of his eyes, touch his shoulder gently. I'm going to do the one that sucks the least. Touch his shoulder gently.
The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that, no reaction. He feels small and frail.
Continue.
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem. Doesn't it, Mr. Duras?
The lieutenant inspects him gently. I guess it does, but what happened? Whatever was driving him for 44 years just suddenly stopped. Continue.
The trembling mouth appears to sigh.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
What has happened to this man? Found some things in the Fasmid's nest, Mr. Dross. Hang tight. What has happened?
Old age and shock.
He looks at him, then you. I think it's the Fasmid. Old age and shock, yes. How could it be? But how could the Fasmid speak to me? That extensively. That objectively. But what could it have possibly done to him? It would be almost a callback, a traditional callback to say, I think it's the Fasmid, wouldn't it? What do you think?
Yes, the arrest and the appearance of the fasmid, the combined stress. But you think it's something more than that, don't you?
He looks at you.
There's much more. Remember what it said when it spoke?
Yeah?
Quite a few things about that health check you did on him make sense now.
He couldn't see it, Kim. It's just the reads for him. Before, when I evaluated his state, he seemed strangely animated. He's been here for a long time. Who knows how much of it is who knows how much of it in its company? He couldn't see it.
That could be part of the shock. But you're right, something is off here. Mr. Dross.
He touches the man's shoulder.
No response.
Maybe this is how the Fasmid has stayed hidden all these years? No, it's not that. I don't know. I have no idea. I guess I'll float the idea, but if that were it, then why did it show itself to us? Well, I'm gonna ask anyway.
Then how did we see it? Oh, you mean, whatever does this, does it over time? Teenagers, kids, drunks, sightings are brief, and hence not credible. But anyone who spends a long time with it.
He thinks. Yes, you forget it's there.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Dross, have you ever seen a stick insect pretending to be the reeds?
The lieutenant inspects the man. The old man stutters.
The doctors will have to look at this. I hope your station has better medical personnel than 57. This is a little advanced for a nurse.
I'm afraid I have no idea, but I hope so too. Before, when I evaluated his state, he seemed strangely animated.
He was energetic and articulate. After all these years alone, with little hygiene or medication, I would expect worse.
He nods. Perhaps this animation is induced by something in the Fasmid? I mean, maybe?
It does not seem to be animated now it's left. Honestly, I'm ready to believe anything at this point. Maybe it is psychoactive.
He looks to the sea. So maybe it's not so much that the Fasmid was controlling him, but more that the Fasmid's mere presence gave him an unnatural animation. Or if not, maybe not unnatural. I don't know if the Fasmid counts as unnatural. But non-innate. Continue.
I mean, why not? It's 3 meters tall.
He takes off his glasses and cleans them. When he puts them back on, he's still staring at the sea. He's been here for a long time. Who knows how much of it in its company? That's what it says.
He did seem distressed when it finally came to arresting him. Like he didn't want to leave this place. And the insect, maybe.
Maybe. He looks at his notebook.
I have absolutely forgotten to take notes. I hope I remember all of this. This will be one hell of a report. Thank God we have the photo.
He shakes his head in disbelief. Continue.
No one would believe you without it.
That is absolutely true. We found some things in the Fasmid's nest, Mr. Dross.
He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him. Perhaps you should.
Show him the ceramic helmet, show him the detached scope. Going to let you rest now, Mr. Dross. Let's show him the helmet.
Nothing. Just dull staring. Not even rage left, wherever he is.
Continue.
If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the ebb would put it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Dross could have picked it up. Or the Fasmid even. If it did, this is incredible.
Show him the detached scope, then.
I lost.
He turns his eyes to it. You lost it, Mr. Dross?
He turns his eyes to the reeds again, as he's done so many times. Beige and white
He
stripes.
has looked off in the reeds a lot, hasn't he? Continue.
He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there. With the help of a magpie fasmid?
Apparently. The lieutenant observes the lens sparkle in your hand. Continue.
This sight is a T9, Mr. Dross. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot?
I don't know if there's any point in asking that sort of question, but let's go ahead and ask. Continue.
Silence. Not even a sigh.
Just all energy has left him. Continue.
You've gotten all you will out of this poor being.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I'm gonna let you rest now, Mr. Dross.
The plastic cape flaps around his face in a gust of wind. His back is slouched and his mouth open.
I wonder if he'll even still be alive when we come back. Continue.
The blacks of his eyes are receding. His pupils are returning to normal.
Is that a thing? That's why his eyes were so black, was because his pupils were extremely dilated? Continue.
The strength has all gone out of him. Just frail old bones in a sack of tracksuit trousers and a windbreaker.
Right. Hang tight. Leave.
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here. If we don't take too long.
New task, the return. Okay, end. Let me just look at that real quick. The return. Use the boat to return to mainland. Of course, that's all it means. There's no other. That's it. That's all there is. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Well, I guess let's get moving then. I probably shouldn't be hauling my gun around all the time, huh? Let me get this thing back out. We'll put that in the offhand. And let's change into something a bit more regular for me, I guess. Let's do the composure pants, because I like them. And we'll do the empathy shoes to go with my glasses. Okay. Okay. Let's go. Which way is out? I don't honestly know this particular zone. Oh, it's down here. This is the way out. This is where I came from. There's the inner tube. This is the door we came through? This here. This is where we go. Okay. All right. Back to the boat. At this point, we have the case solved. We have the confession, we have the motive. We even found the fasmid, which means if anything else is going to go wrong, now is when it's going to happen. Or else this may just be the credits of the game coming up here. I'm not honestly sure. I don't know if we're going to have to deal with the consequences of the impending possible invasion. If I had any idea whether or not that was something that was coming, I would probably leave this episode off right here, because we've already been going 2 hours, and this is going to be long. But if this is the end of the game, then it would be really dumb to leave off here, and I have no idea, so I guess we're just getting in this boat, huh?
The skiff is swaying on the waves by the dock.
Well, let's return to the mainland then,
Let's. We are done here.
he says, adjusting his glasses as he looks out over the water.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight as you get in. The ride back is uneventful and quiet.
That's nice. Continue.
But for the sound of conversation on the water, there is someone inland waiting for you.
Uh-oh. And it wouldn't be Lillian, because she wouldn't be talking to herself. Someone's waiting for us. What does that mean? Continue.
You reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Okay, nobody I can see yet. That might be intentional, I guess. End. Lillian is gone. If they're waiting for us, they're not waiting at the dock where we... What is... I don't even know what I'm doing here. Harry, we're here because we're worried.
Look what the tide brought him.
My partner, says the man without sunglasses. Suddenly his expression changes and he tilts his head. Continue.
Harry, you're bleeding all over the place. You're half dead.
Little bit. Continue.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen.
That is presumably true. Why are you doing an intervention? We just solved the case. This is not the time. Continue.
This is the man with sunglasses from the whirling in rags. But where are his sunglasses?
Wait, you're the man with sunglasses. It's true. Forget about all this. There's a giant... No one else seems to be bothered by the bleeding. Who are you people? I know who these people are. They're my people from my department. You are the man with the sunglasses.
That's right. And you're bleeding.
No one else seems to be bothered by the bleeding? I guess?
Bothered by it? Harry, you look like you need a fucking organ transplant.
Maybe I do, but I was just shot in the leg. I don't think there's that many organs in there aside from like the muscles and bones and whatnot. Continue.
Oh, fuck it. Let's not get into that.
He takes a deep breath. Forget about all this. There's a giant... Who are you people? Okay, well, here's the thing. Bringing up the fasmid now is not going to be the thing to do, is it? Yes, I've just had a... like, transcendent experience, but... we just have to get medical help for the old man we just left on the island. This is not the time, Jean. But the only other option I've got is who are you people? What if I... Let's try and bring it up.
We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you.
He points at you with both hands. Okay, fine. Then who are you people?
Hello, I'm Trent Heilerstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
You? What are you doing here? Continue.
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean-Vic Comar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it.
He says, gesturing towards his companions. Trent was on my special task force? Continue. This is the woman who I keep referring to as horse-faced, and I can't remember her actual name. Continue.
Special Consultant Trent Heidelstam, Battle Officer Judith Minot.
Judith Minot. Thank you. Continue.
Hi.
She actually is using her name, just like he's actually using his name now. That never happens. It never updates. Continue.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
All right. Well, I feel like I've done a pretty good job of that myself. Thank you very much. Continue.
Lieutenant Kim Kisuragi, Precinct 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us.
He points to the sea fort. Continue. I can't read his tone.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to justify your actions.
Does seem that way. Continue.
We might need your help with something later.
He adds, suddenly regaining his confidence.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Way to feed me to the wolves. No, Kim, you gotta have my back. Let's destroy them. I don't feel like that's the kind of encounter this is, but I don't know. Do I let him go? I don't think he's going to stick around no matter what. Do I let him go? Or I don't want him to leave. This is going to be bad. Destroy them, though? Maybe just, like, figuratively destroy them? Since we solved the case and everything? Don't let Kim go. Don't let him go.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
She says warmly, flashing the lieutenant the tiniest of smiles. Continue.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you.
Oh boy. All right. Well, what is this about?
Ari, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
Continue.
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science.
He takes a step back. Okay, continue.
My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
He makes air quotes. He really doesn't want to be here for this. Continue.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
He turns to you. My shit kid? Continue.
Shit kid. What an interesting moniker.
What's a shit kid? How did you know I was here? You aren't the man with sunglasses at all. You're not even blonde. You never told me you're not the horse-faced woman, pointed her. So Trant Heidelstamm turns out to be Special Consultant Trant Heidelstamm. Duped again. No one's who they say they are. You mentioned a task force? Where have you been all this time? What's a shit kid?
You. Shit kid? That's you.
Okay.
Despite all that you've done, the deserter, the fasmid, the case.
Despite all that I've done, better not to piss him off by arguing. He's already pissed off is the thing. I think he's probably because of all that I've done before all the events of this game, because my life has existed going back for 40 however many years. 44, I think. 43? I'm getting my numbers confused. Oh boy, okay. Do I get defensive immediately? Ugh. It is an interesting moniker. Maybe we just take this one, because I know I've been terrible to him in the past. Maybe we just take that one.
Good idea. It doesn't look like he thinks you're in a position to correct him on the shit kid issue.
That's kind of the impression I get. How did you know I was here?
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went.
I saved his establishment and still he betrays me? Turns to face the direction of the whirling and yell, "Damn you, cafeteria manager! You betrayed me for the last time!" I understand. Okay, Guard told you. I'm gonna try and be an adult about this. Guard told you. Okay, got it.
And people on the street helped us too, with your whereabouts.
She looks around. Okay, sure, they had no reason to expect this was a bad thing. Continue.
You're a legend among the drunks, Harry. A legendary local drunk.
Yeah, well, I haven't had a drink in more than a week at this point, so I feel like I'm doing pretty well. So what are we trying to accomplish here? So let's just, it's not going to be winning many points in my favor, pointing out that he's not even blonde. Of course, that was an obvious wig. I don't want to call her the horse-faced woman, because that's just mean. Let's talk about Trant. Special Consultant Trant Heidelstamm.
Yes, I'm Trant Heidelstamm. I never said I wasn't Trant Heidelstamm.
Wait, what was up with the kid then? So what are you special consulting here? Okay, you're Trant Heidelstamm, special consultant. I get it. So what was up with the kid?
Mikhail? Mikhail is my son.
Oh yeah? What was up with all the interesting history? Spying on me? Oh, okay, sorry. Okay, sorry.
No problem.
So what are you special consulting here?
What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory.
He looks at the dilapidated shacks, then you. Got it, because I had an episode and now they're wondering what's going on with me, and so they're trying to intervene here right as I'm about to solve the case. Have solved the case, just need to report it. Continue.
He's here to see if you're insane. He is smart. Let's move on.
Okay. You mentioned a task force. Do I duped again? No one's who they say they are? Do we want to just go full down this whole road? I feel like no. Like, if I'm trying to prove that I'm not insane, then... Did you mention a task force?
Yeah. Major Crimes Unit. Under Lieutenant Du Bois and Vicomar. Ring any bells?
Refresh my memory. Who else is in this? Yeah, totally. I get it. Major Crimes Unit. Refresh my memory?
Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me, Jude, Trant fucking Heidelstamm, and Guillaume Bevy.
He stares at you. Guillaume Bevy, who's that? Continue.
I'm technically just a civilian advisor.
Right, continue.
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show.
Yeah, first, who's Guillaume Bevy? This is not gonna go well.
Oh, that's an interesting story, actually.
He's not
Guillaume
smiling.
Bevy is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit.
I see. Continue.
Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Trant because I'm forcing him to stay.
Well, that's gotta be going well. So what does this unit do?
It's a major crimes unit. We cleared the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are shit tier now, Harry. Because of you.
Because of me, huh? Great. Continue.
The 41st isn't...
He trails off, not wishing to finish the sentence. So where have you been all this time?
Where have we been? We've been fucking off as far as I remember.
He crosses his arms.
You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style, your detective god. Fuck everything. All we burn. Detect or die.
All will burn, Satellite Officer Vikmer. Vikmer? Make no mistake about it. Why didn't you detect or die then? Why would you leave a literal police god? I said all those things. I'm not like that anymore. I'm technically not like that anymore. I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try it.
Yes, you're sorry. You're the sorriest cop who ever lived. Nothing has changed, Harry. I've heard this repentance shit a million times over.
Okay. Do I have any reason to take these final 3 options here? Just rile them up even further. I don't know if it's going to make any difference one way or another. I'm just going to move on. I'm sorry. I hope it's okay. I don't feel like digging myself in any deeper than I'm already at. None of this is ringing any bells.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
He turns to the blonde. Continue.
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic.
Continue.
Meaning, you forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, Isola, pal, and so on.
I sure did. Continue.
As displayed in the station call, our interactions with him, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all very interesting.
He makes air quotes. Continue.
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
He turns to you. Wait, socioeconomically? You think I'm so poor I lost my memory? I drank so much I lost my memory, and now I'm slowly recovering it. I made it all up. It was a fantasy, a stupid joke. I know what I am. It might have something to do with an anomaly in the church, a 2mm hole in the world. I'm a highly experimental detective. This was a method I used to solve the case. Something so sad happened to me that I couldn't be me anymore. It was a defense mechanism. There's a wait option. Take the wait option. Socioeconomically, really?
Not when you phrase it like that. But I don't think critical theory... I know everyone thinks this is far-fetched pink academia, but still, I don't think it should be off the table here.
Okay, continue.
What? He lost his memory because of capitalism?
Continue.
No, not like that. I'm not talking Vrede for school here. But Harry, I asked you, what do you think happened?
We now have the new option, capitalism. Capitalism fucked me beyond all recognition. Trant is right. Oh, what direction do I go with this? I only probably get to choose one, right? I definitely drank too much, and I don't know if the part where I haven't drank any since then is going to be helping at all, but I want it to be. I didn't make it up. It might have something to do with the swallow, I guess. This is not true. This is true, but I don't know if I can prove that the problem was just that I was so sad. Clearly, the alcohol was part of it. It wasn't capitalism. I'm pretty sure it wasn't capitalism. I'm gonna say that I drank so much I lost my memory, even though it's the boring option. I think it has a lot of truth to it. This one.
He is. He's getting better. And I can confirm that he drank a lot of alcohol prior to it happening.
Yeah, continue.
I believe he drank. People do that, especially this one. What they don't do is forget their whole life because of drinking.
He turns to you. Well, I mean, they die because of drinking. I didn't quite take it that far, but I got pretty close. Continue.
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before.
She interjects. I have?
Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders.
She pauses, remembering.
One was after the 2 drunks case. The other when we looked into that mural.
Continue.
So you don't remember not remembering. Beautiful.
It's cyclical. It's great. Continue.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice.
Uh-huh.
And then he used alcohol to get there, so to speak.
So this was an intentional move by me. I had learned that I forgot things, and so therefore I decided to forget everything, and it worked. Continue.
What do you mean?
What I just said, I think.
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here.
He gestures toward the scenery. Trent is being a lot more sympathetic to all this than I was expecting. Continue.
Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world tape, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it. Total input.
Uh-huh. Continue.
Hardwired to the free market. He just needed for it to end.
He nods confidently. Continue.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a crétin now? I want to know that.
Well, then why don't we talk some without being quite so argumentative all the time? I know that's my fault, Jean, but, like, work with me here. Continue.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
I'm ready to lead again. Line detective is good for now. He's wrong. I'm too far gone to work. Fuck all of you. I don't want to be in your unit. What now? Proceed. What do I even say to that? So much of the game you're working towards solving the case because it's going to be the last thing you do, the last one giant thing you do that makes your life worthwhile. But now we're talking about what happens afterwards, and that's never come up. Like, what do I even say? I don't know that I am ready to lead again. I feel helpless a lot of the time, even with Kim following me around and backing me up all the time. Do I say that I want to go line detective? Clearly I'm good at this, but I also hate it, I think. Part of me hates it. I'm too far gone for work. Don't want to be in your unit. I don't know. I mean, at the very least, Jean hates me because of our history. But he's trying to figure out, is that what this is? He's trying to make it official that I cannot serve with their unit anymore, and so I can get cast out of the unit and they'll be rid of me? Is that what he wants? Saying that I would be good with going with a line detective would seem to be in line with my Lieutenant double-yefreitor thing. I've been fine with just kind of doing the thing that I've been doing for the entire time. So maybe just say that? Maybe just say that.
For now, I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the body? Or do we need to get him on a disability pension?
He looks at you, then at Trent. Right. What now, then? Proceed.
Now, nothing. Now we're just going to stand here.
Really? Just stand there? Why? What are we waiting for?
No. Now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry?
He points to the water. Hold on, in the ocean? Feign ignorance. It was stolen by Jacob Irwa. That wasn't me. It was stolen by traffic hooligans. I drove it into the ocean when I was drunk. I thought the killer would be underwater. He wasn't. The time had come, Tequila Sunset. I don't know what it's doing there. I'm telling the truth. I drove it into the ocean when I was drunk.
Ah, so refreshing. He just admits it. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of everyone's payslip.
Uh-huh, continue.
It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
He exhales to calm his breathing. Wait, my badge? I got my badge right here. Show it to them. I lost it. I haven't found it yet. Lie. What I do have is this futuristic armor. Clench your armored fist. There's a wait option. Take the weight option.
The thing that tells people you're a police officer.
Right. I got my badge right here.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand.
Hand-eye coordination, challenging 12, catch it. +1, you're proficient in catching small objects. I have a skill point. It's not a great chance I've got here, and I wish I could change clothes, but I can't. Catch it. Caught it. Elegant, graceful, that's me.
Not today, badge.
Got it back. Did I get the badge? Behold my badge. The drama's unnecessary. I got the badge, all is well. Did I get the badge?
You got it all right. You're showing it to him, victorious. They're seeing the badge.
Behold my badge. Behold my badge.
Your gun.
He asks, unimpressed by the piece of plastic in your hand. Continue.
As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements.
Right, continue.
What is it with all these material objects?
Gun, just repeat gun. My gun is right here. Show him the Villiers 9mm. I upgraded my gun to a rifle. Present the Triangong 4.46 rifle. Gun, badge, car, these are things. Things don't matter, people do. Just show him the gun. Just show him the gun.
He has it. And he didn't drop it. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone.
He wipes his brow in mock relief. I didn't lose my gun. I have my gun. Show him the gun. So it doesn't even matter that I found my gun? I quit drinking forever. It's only me in this boring hellhole now. I tried not to, but I can't work as well without it. I'm going to tell him I quit drinking. This might be the only opportunity I get to mention it.
I don't buy it. Why do you smell like a corpse then, huh?
Because I got shot in the leg. Continue.
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
He looks at you. No idea what you're smelling. I washed death off me. Wait, maybe because of the pheromone. Yeah, I've handled an actual corpse. Yeah, it's been a bit of a week. I'm sorry I smell bad. None of this matters. My odor situation, it's meaningless compared to what I've discovered. Oh boy, but if we go down the insulindian fasmid path with these three, that's just gonna get me taken away as an insane person. It's been a bit of a week. I'm sorry I smell bad.
A bit of a week? You're drunk, and you let a suspect escape, a certain Clasier, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
He squints. I am not drunk. Continue.
We've read the report, Sari. Lieutenant Kitsuhagi's. We know.
Claudia? She was some kind of spy from the Occident, specially trained. Not taking her in was the right thing to do. She gave us a vital clue that led us to the island. Okay, I got duped there. She pulled one on me. Yes, I let her go. An act of mercy on behalf of the city of Revachol. She is waiting for the return. That's just a small detail in a huge case you know nothing about. That doesn't matter. None of it does. We are looking at the oxygen Holocaust times a quadrillion. I have come to know the final fate of man in the universe. That's the thing about blinking and forgetting about everything. Don't bring that up now. No. I know I'm probably supposed to be a weirdo here, but I don't want to be a weirdo. I want them to leave me alone so I can finish this case. I did get duped there. Straight up, I did.
Duped again. Not for one moment do I believe you quit drinking. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect, who also escaped. A Ruby something.
He rubs his face in frustration. Continue.
Or the fact that you very likely sold your gun for booze. That's peanuts. That's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote.
Continue.
Compared to the 8 people who were gunned down. The streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
Right, but not everybody died, and that's what they wanted to have happen anyway. Morale boost. Thank you. Continue.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired and vetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Du Bois got between them and the locals.
The lieutenant interrupts him. Thank you, Kim.
He did so at considerable risk to his own life. He was shot and survived only because of his armor. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been.
Yes, what he said. I also solved the case. It's solved. All of it. Yeah, it was a massacre. We got wiped. Where the hell were you? The firefight is a trivial matter compared to the greatest discovery of the century. I'm just sorry. Man, what do... We haven't had a chance to bring it up yet that the case is solved. Yes,
Detective, it's better if I do that.
he says in a lowered voice.
It's so much better if he does this. 1,000,000 times better.
Correct, but he'd stop talking. Continue.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation.
Yes, you did! He brushes a stray strand of hair out of his eye and coughs. Continue.
You've spent the week with him on this case. What is your take?
Continue.
On the case?
Or on me.
On Lieutenant Du Bois.
That one. Double-yefreitor, thank you very much. Continue.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
He pulls up his collar.
See?
1 week.
Yes, 1 week. It was hard. Continue.
Then there's the self-flagellation issue. He likes to apologize, profusely, making it sound like he's guilty of at least first-degree murder. It's not a good communication strategy for an officer.
I didn't realize I was going to be evaluated at the end by Kim, but I guess I should have seen this coming. Continue.
It's worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Du Bois is, as you may know, a Mazovian socio-economist. He wants to liquidate the ruling class, which, again, for a police officer, is a little odd.
When did I switch to communist? Hang on. 19 communist, 13 moralist. That would do it. Okay. Consequences for my actions. What do you know? Continue.
You should yell something.
I am a policeman of the state to come. That's not a good idea. Rhetoric.
Yes, let's let the big boys talk.
Sounds good to me. Continue.
Other still, he is also an ultra-liberal hustler who is always on the grind. How he reconciles these 2 points of view, I do not know. But he is vocal about both of them.
Am I? Hang on. Ultra-liberal 4. What are you talking about, Kim? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Continue.
And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for.
He breathes in sharply.
But despite all this, he is a great detective. One of the best I have seen, in fact.
Thank you. Continue.
He can talk human beings into telling him everything. And he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless, madly driven.
I did read books for 5 hours straight one day, though. But it was because I was thinking about something. Continue.
Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vicmar, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out.
You gotta live sometime, you know? Continue.
Okay, he did something.
I did something!
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation.
That is all true. Continue.
He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years.
Probably. He pauses.
Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
We're bringing that up, are we, Kim? I mean, we do have the photo. That is certainly true. Continue.
New species.
Yeah,
A
continue.
colossal stick insect. It was on the island, camouflaged as the reeds. It unfolded from the reeds. I think we may be dealing with the insulindian fasmid.
I mean, you're not wrong, but is this really the time? Continue.
He takes out the photo of the fasmid and shows it to the officers across the yard. The wind blows, flapping the glossy rectangle in his hand.
Shivers, do me a favor and do not blow that out of his hand right now. Continue.
You hear gasps beneath the howling of the wind.
Continue.
As you can see, it's about 3 meters tall. In fact, we think it may be the largest land invertebrate ever discovered.
Hosiana. Boom shakalaka motherfucker. So as you can see, I'm a pretty okay detective and an absolutely giant communist. Say nothing. It's probably best if I keep my mouth shut, isn't it? Nothing. Say nothing.
Fucking hell is that? Is this somehow connected to the case?
The man cranes his neck, still looking at the photo. I don't know. Probably. Maybe. Continue.
Detective?
He turns to you. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, I believe the pheromone it emits may be responsible for the killer's mental degradation. Try and talk like an adult. Try it.
The old man was not aware of the phasmid's presence. Exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia, he fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
He did. Continue.
So it is connected.
Maybe. Continue.
I must say, this is absolutely extraordinary. I don't even have words for it.
He points to the photo. Yeah, nobody does yet, Trant. Continue.
Yes, it really does make it hard to fire the drunk.
His tired eyes follow as the photo as Lieutenant puts it away. That's all he wanted right now, was to fire me. But he does say it makes it hard, and doesn't actually say it makes it impossible. He might still do it. Continue.
This is a very, very sad man who has just seen something that's made him forget his sadness.
I guess you're right, Empathy. Maybe I should be a little more empathetic. Continue.
Now you make your case. Now is the time. Now or never.
I also started a nightclub in the church. Also, the phasmid was female. The reeds are its nest. The killer, Lilianovich Dros, we have a strong motive for him. The previous head of the Debardeurs Union was assassinated by our killer. And I also fixed the strike situation. There was also a dead man on the boardwalk, a missing person that I found. I also looked into the mystery of the doomed commercial area. I confiscated drugs from Kuno's dad. So what do you say to that? Want to take this hot shit back? Point to yourself. Ugh. Let's start with the killer's motive. We have a strong motive for him.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym.
The special consultant raises an eyebrow. A revolutionary matronym? I don't have time for this. Straight to the motive, please.
The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Krasovich, Lasovich, etc. The revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so they used matronyms, derived from the mother's name instead.
I see. Okay. Continue. Lilianovich. Makes sense. Got it. Continue.
This man's mother was Lilian. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed, but not before it made it to Revachol.
Got it. Continue.
So, it is what a soldier of the ICM would be called.
Right. Continue.
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory.
He turns to you.
You said you have a motive?
I do.
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
He killed the mercenary in an act of jealousy. He killed a mercenary hoping to start a war between the company and the Union. He killed him in an act of rage induced by the phasmid semiochemicals. Actually, I'm not sure if I have a motive. I had another thing. Well, here's the thing. It was an act of jealousy. That is the truth of the matter. It was an act of jealousy. It wasn't about trying to start a war. I'm not going to make things up now.
Jealousy? I thought this Lilianovich was an old man. To have been hiding for 50 years. Like 70-something.
Continue.
A strange psychosexual fixation, aggravated possibly by proximity to the phasmid and its chemicals. He himself gave a political reason, said he had killed an enemy combatant.
Yeah, continue.
Also, we have ballistics from the gun, matching the bullet found in the dead mercenary's head, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed to.
This is true. We do. Continue.
It's a clean win.
Continue.
Oh, it's way more than that.
No way of looking at it. Yes, continue.
Way more.
It's more than that. A perfect folding mechanism like the phasmid. It's way more than that. It will win me Dora back. It's my masterpiece. They'll teach this in cop school. I did all I could. Every second was a struggle. I'm still not completely satisfied with it. It could be just a little neater. I'm gonna go with the phasmid option.
Perfect folding mechanism. Get over yourself, Harry. I can still smell the booze on the wind.
He rolls his eyes. Get over yourself, John. I haven't drunk in a week, as we discussed. Continue.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It is there. Like in your bones or something.
It's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. It's fine. Continue.
It will pass. In time.
Yes. Also, the phasmid was female. The reeds are its nest. Is it worth mentioning? Sure, let's do it.
Female? What makes you think so?
Continue.
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female. And the nesting behavior too, I think.
So far as we can tell, continue.
Incredible. Were there eggs in the nest?
There were not.
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
He turns to you. It had gathered items in its nest, a helmet and a scope. I think it reproduces by parthenogenesis. It had mandibles that looked like hair, and it was completely white on the inside. It did gather items.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. They are for attracting mates.
Oh. I still think it was female. It could have been male, actually. Does it matter what I think? I was referring to it as an it this entire time. It didn't mention its gender. I don't think it matters what I think. It could have been male, sure.
Must be robust if it can move a helmet with its limbs.
He trails off, lost in thought. I think it reproduces by parthenogenesis. I don't even remember what parthenogenesis is, but let's go ahead and bring it up.
As in cloning itself? What makes you think so?
Observation, just a hunch it told me. Observation. It told me it's just not going to win me any points here.
Well, then it wouldn't matter if it's a male or female. The bower would just be rudimentary behavior from before the parthenogenetic mutation.
I assume, yes. Continue.
That makes sense. Yes.
Right, continue.
Very interesting. Such organisms are extremely vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the whole species. We're probably looking at conservation efforts here.
He looks around, quickly assessing the coast. It had mandibles that looked like hair, and it was completely white on the inside.
Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tufts on its limbs.
It did.
Incredible. The PR value of this is exceptional. Carp discovers new species. Maybe even discovers the insulindian fasmid. No, that's too much.
He repeats, turning to Vicmare. Continue.
This would really help with some of the problems we've been having.
You think so? Continue.
Absolutely, this is great. This does not say vigilante murderers to me at all. This says science, news, human interest.
He smiles.
You know, it's a really good thing you have that photo.
That does seem important, doesn't it? Continue.
Without it,
He shakes his head.
You're doing good here. Perhaps only for a moment, but still.
Right. I don't think that mentioning about the nightclub and the church is necessarily going to be helpful. The previous head of the Debardeurs Union was assassinated by our killer. I don't necessarily have proof of that. And I also fixed the strike situation. There was a... do we talk... Let's talk about the previous head of the Debardeurs Union.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open, in Martinaise, where Evrard and Edgar Clare have ears everywhere.
The lieutenant lowers his voice just a little. That's fair. Continue.
And eyes, too. Your return from the island must not have gone unnoticed.
Right. Continue.
understood, of course.
Right. Continue.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality.
The consultant, too, has lowered his voice. I guess I fixed the strike situation, sort of? I mean, I didn't hold up my end of the bargain accidentally because, the tribunal happened, but...
How? It seems to be ongoing. I see red banners on the gates.
Right?
He didn't quite solve it. He cross-pollinated information between the company rep and Evrard, until the rep came to see that the Union desires war. At which point Mrs. Messier decided to...
He shrugs.
What? Hand clear the terminal.
It was an accident. I did it for the World Revolution. I just told some people some things. No big deal. Things are calmer now. I masterminded a solution to an unsolvable problem. There's not really a way to make myself look good here, is there? It was sort of an accident. I just sort of did it without thinking about it. I did not do it for the World Revolution. I did just tell some people some things, but that doesn't inspire confidence in my ability to keep secrets. I masterminded a solution to an unsolvable problem is giving myself way too much credit. What do I say? Maybe I give myself too much credit. Arrogance is better than rote incompetence. I don't know. I don't know.
Sounds like you got played, Harry. Because you were off your tits on Al Ghul.
Maybe. Hey, how do you know about Al Ghul? I wasn't drunk, dang it! How do you know about Al Ghul?
It doesn't matter how I know about Al Ghul. What matters is, you're Everclear's messenger now. A union man, as he calls it. He's a mob boss, did you know?
I did know that. Continue.
Is that why you want us to investigate the assassination of the previous union head thing? To get off Everett's hook?
I'm not on any particular hook here. Continue.
No, it's nothing like that. He was reckless with information, but ethical. We don't owe anyone anything. This allowed us to stabilize things in Martinaise.
Right, continue.
God, calm down, Jean.
That would be really helpful if he did.
Silence. Good. The man doesn't know what to say.
There was a dead man on the boardwalk who I found. I don't know if that's relevant, but I did do my job there. I did a good job, too, I think. Some of y'all don't agree with me, but I think I did a good job.
Yes. Fallen through a gap in a boardwalk. Drunk.
How did you know I found him?
The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had Tilbrook and Mullins take care of funeral arrangements and family stuff.
Thank you for that. Continue.
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This all comes back to us.
That makes sense.
Still, good work with the missing person, Detective.
She says quietly, thank you. The mystery of the doomed commercial area. Do we talk about that? It's real and Kim can back me up. I did confiscate drugs from Kuno's dad, and was that the one that Kim took them from me? I think it is. In which case he can back me up. Let's do that one first.
Who's Kuno?
Continue.
You don't want to know.
That's not a very good answer, Kim.
You're right, Lieutenant. I don't. You snorted the drugs, I know you did. It's alright. I'm in. At this point, anything is but the drink.
I didn't. And screw you. The mystery of the doomed commercial area, do we...
I don't know what a doomed commercial area is.
He shrugs. Rue de Saint-Ghislain 10, a commercial building where all businesses go bankrupt. I looked into it. The curse turned out to be a possibly entreprenetical part of a larger investigation into Martinaise itself. Nothing, it's not important. Entreprenetical? Is this gonna get me anywhere? I mean, this guy is convinced that I'm still drunk anyway. Nothing I'm gonna say is gonna convince him otherwise for some reason. Possibly entreprenetical. Yeah, I mean, if Kim backs me up, it's one thing, and if he doesn't, this is gonna make me sound stupid, but what can I do? What can I do?
I'm 100% sure it didn't turn out to be that. You know, cut the amateur and troponetic 2mm hole shit. This isn't Paradox B. We're a police force.
Yeah, okay, continue.
Paradox B is a fringe science magazine published in Grad. Its mission is to explain theories like telekinesis and intra-isolary power before they get out of hand.
Sure, continue.
It doesn't look like the lieutenant wishes you to push this angle further.
Fine, then I will not. Okay, and that's why he didn't back me up on it. I don't feel like saying this thing that I have to say at the end here. I don't think there's any point in bringing up the nightclub in the church. Unless there is there's only one way to find out. I've done enough good things that maybe it'll not work against me? I did.
What was that? It sounded like you set up a nightclub in the church.
He cups his ear, the wind blows. Yeah, I reinvigorated the local nightlife. Yeah, I did some kids a solid, turned their lives around. Yeah, and I discovered a hitherto unexplored electromagnetic phenomenon there too, a 2mm hole in the world, which is the thing that Kim doesn't want me to talk about. So let's just say I did the kids some solid, turned their lives around.
4 kids were living in a tent on the ice. They were going to drown when it melted. It's not optimal, but the building was abandoned, so he put them in there. It's okay.
It's true. Continue.
It's not that okay. Get off this subject now.
Right, okay, sorry. So what are you saying? You want to take this hot shit back?
I don't want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder.
He shrugs.
So I have to. Jude,
Continue.
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
A quick nod. This was a trial then. Continue.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Continue.
okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
He sighs. Continue.
Now you will finally get to know who you are.
Wait, I have a few questions before we go about who I am. Really? Do I? Continue.
The man looks westward, impatiently,
Continue.
jingling his car keys in his pocket.
Who am I? Why am I like this? Okay, am I a dirty cop working for La Puta Madre? Precinct 41, what kind of station is it? The Fasmid, I need to tell Len about this ASAP. Lieutenant Kitsuragi, what will you do now? I'm ready. And this is the biggest question. Let's start with this. Am I a dirty cop working for La Puta Madre?
No.
No, because the suspect seemed to think, okay then.
You're too unstable to work for a mob boss. You're suicidal, Harry. No mob boss would take you.
Right, continue.
I assure you, I wouldn't consult for a corrupt unit.
That's good to hear. Tryant, continue.
He would immediately backpedal out of it.
He tried to backpedal out of this trial, but who can really blame him? Continue.
I told you it's not that bad.
You were absolutely right, Volition. Thank you. This is the last menu in the game, isn't it? I should do all of this, shouldn't I? Who am I?
Who are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry.
What?
Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher anymore, but
But before.
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coron. It's getting really cold outside. Should we maybe...
She looks around. That does explain a lot. No way, I was a flagellant monk. A guerrilla soldier gym teacher? That does explain a lot. We'll go with that.
Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the bicep girth, your inexplicable facial hair.
What's wrong with my inexplicable facial hair? The collection of fallen sportswear I've amassed. It's true.
Your moves on the church floor, which honestly were just jump aerobics. Your use of the word graffito.
I guess. Continue.
The incredible stamina outputs.
Thank you, Endurance.
Also, this guy. Just everything about this guy.
Continue.
God, even this javelin throwing freak here.
A little bit. Oh god, contact Mike.
Of course. Contact Mike.
It all makes sense. I'm a gym teacher. Continue.
he's been on about Mike again. I hate that guy.
The detective shakes his head. Contact Mike is a reprise of the most inspiring basic sporting principle of open competition. A 5001 rank outsider. When was this? When was I a gym teacher? You said in Quran. I was a gym teacher there? Why did I join the RCM then? Okay, I see now. Contact Mike!
Oh, you don't say.
He arches an
Does he
eyebrow.
also vault an impassable gulf of finance and privilege?
Continue.
It is getting cold out.
She looks around at the dilapidated fishing village. When was this? When was I a gym teacher?
In your 20s or late 20s. You've really let yourself go since then.
He looks you over. Well, thank you for that. You said in Quran I was a gym teacher there?
Yes, you taught gym in Cool. I believe that's the term. Taught gym at a high school. You were a high school gym teacher.
How many different ways can you say it?
The smell of sweat and glue. The worn floorboards.
Right.
Kuron is just east of Jamro. It was a short walk every morning to the baseball field or the sports building.
All right, continue.
High school. Harry, your goings-on with Kuno, Andre, Acel, the whole thing on the ice. That's why you are so juvie.
That's why I'm so juvie? Continue.
His smirk suggests barely contained laughter.
Go ahead and laugh, it's fine. Why did I join the RCM then?
The regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight. Be more than you are. All that.
Uh-huh. Gotcha, continue.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on. The air filled with the smell of smoke and raspberries, and incredible hope. An ocean full of hope.
Okay, I see now. Conclude.
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher.
That's why I have the infinite stamina despite being out of shape and an alcoholic. Why am I like this?
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were drunk.
Yeah, continue.
You really went with it too. Really maximized the damage.
Some chick who? Was her name Dora? Was her name Dora?
Yeah. Dora England, I think.
Continue.
Not Dora Du Bois.
So we weren't even married. Wait, Dora England.
Something like that. Half Vazan.
Continue.
Vasa is where beautifully and impossibly blonde people come from.
Thank you, Encyclopedia. So we weren't even married.
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol.
When was this?
God, I don't know. 6 years ago, she was way before my time.
He thinks. Continue.
6 years and you haven't gotten over it. What the hell is wrong with you?
6 years? Oh, okay, 6 years is not that much. It couldn't have been 6. 3. Let's go with 3. 6 years.
Yeah. Or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora England really tore you a new one. A big one.
That does seem to be the case. Who was she?
Incredibly bangable.
Huh? Fingers? Figures? No, I meant what did she do? Huh?
She was extremely fuckable, Harry. Gorgeous. A gorgeous bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a Welkin, basically.
You know about Welkins? Also, thank you, I guess. Continue.
Snow Welkin. Blonde Welkin.
Cool, thanks, conceptualization. Continue.
Heartbreak Welkin.
Something like that.
Pain Welkin.
Pain Welkin. Continue.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. One you never recuperated from.
I guess it does seem that way. Continue.
Look, the sun is going down. It's time to go home.
She turns to face the sea. Continue.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts, east of the river. Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chicken kind of thing.
That's a really good question. Continue.
My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to that.
He pauses to think. A forensic psychiatrist.
In other words, he's heard enough about this.
Sure. Tell me about Precinct 41. What kind of station is it?
Us? We're the bloody murder station, haven't you heard? We're the bad guys. No one likes us.
Okay, continue.
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You're just understaffed. And everyone respects the 41st. You have Captain Price.
Captain Price is who now?
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
Tilt his head north. He tilts his head northward. Continue.
Get back to it. We left Torsen and MacLean to run the Sea Wing. It's not good.
Torsen and MacLean.
Mac the Torso Torsen and Chester MacLean. They're not fit to run a wing. Believe me. Things are shaky as it is.
She arches an eyebrow. What about the guy who was on the phone? Which one was that? Continue.
They are damn iconic though. Torsen and MacLean.
An iconic duo, I take it? Not now. Do we go with it?
Yeah, not like us. Two clinically depressed old men. Where's the contrast here? We are garbage.
Also, you have self-esteem issues as well. Good to know. And the Sea Wing is...
God. There are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers. You and I reconceptualized it as a task force. It was a mistake.
He sighs.
There's also a lot of outside help involved, not only me. Other losers too.
He smiles. Thanks, Trent. And Price is...
Ptolemy Price? He's the son of the old Price, one of the founders of the RCM.
Really? Continue.
He's one of the most highly regarded men in the force. You're lucky.
Good to know. Thank you.
Somewhere under the curved roof of a former silk factory, shaped like a ladybird with 2 chimneys, Police Captain Ptolemy Price sits behind a heavy wooden desk. Resident medic Nix Gottlieb pours him coffee. It's silent in the captain's office.
Fair enough. Thank you, Esprit de Corps.
They speak of change, the city, the tension on the streets. They speak of the events of April and the blood on the streets in May.
Right. Well, we have to look forward to. Did we recently shoot up a church by any chance? Point to the church.
So he remembers that. Yes, there may have been a raid on some churches. It wasn't good press.
Clearly not.
Shooting up churches never is. I was out of town, to be clear.
What happened? Why do we need to go there?
Our enemies were hiding in a church, to the best of our information. That's it. I'm not talking about this anymore. Your security clearance is shit tier right now. You have to wait for it to go up.
Okay, I understand. Continue.
Your clearance will not go up while you're within earshot of the Union headquarters.
That makes a lot of sense. So I work in the bloody murder station.
Okay, it's not the bloody murder station. It's an old converted silk mill with green desk lamps and a coffee corner. A lot of good people work there, hard, every day.
Continue.
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Revachol. Faubourg, technically, but it's divided into 11 districts. Jamrock only has us.
Right. Continue.
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts. You're lucky to have it.
He says in a reassuring tone.
Thank you again, Lieutenant.
The Fasmid. I need to tell Lena about this ASAP. I do, if possible.
Who is Lena?
Continue.
She lives at 1113 Tabernacle Road in Jamrock. Remember?
I do remember. Well, I didn't remember, but you did. A cryptozoologist. She lives in Jamrock on Tabernacle Road. She told me about this Fasmid.
Tabernacle? It's on the way over. Near where you live on Perdition.
She looks at Vikmer. Where I live on Perdition or where Jean lives on Perdition? Continue.
Fine, if we're gonna drop you off anyway.
Where I live on Perdition. Continue.
She and her husband were conducting the search for the Fasmid. It's their discovery, in part.
In part. Continue.
They should know as soon as possible. It would do you good to deliver some positive news for a change.
No doubt. Continue.
Watch out, or she'll faint.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi, what will you do now?
Well, first I will go back to my station and write the most detailed report anyone has ever seen. It will have to be good to cover all this.
No doubt.
Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
About what?
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol.
He pulls up his collar and looks around, the cold spring light reflected in the lenses of his glasses.
I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate.
That's probably wise. Continue.
Distant traffic. A scrap of newspaper drifts by, carried by the wind.
Continue.
It says, tensions rise in Terminal YC in light of the débardeurs strike in Terminal B. Among representatives of every industry in Coal City, you read.
I have really good sight. Eyesight, rather. Continue.
Le retour.
Wait, you mean the return? Want to do that at Station 41? Good luck with your report. Wait, you mean the return?
Perhaps. There are people who say the zone of control will not hold up long. They are not on the radio yet, but there are parties out there.
He watches the scrap of newspaper hit the ground. Continue.
Yes. I hear worries from systems analyst in Vespa and Messina. International risk departments in Pangs. People like that.
His face darkens.
We've been hearing whispers in Jamrock too, ever since fall. I agree that something is happening. People are tense. I hear a fan spinning, fast. Something is about to hit it.
And you do keep calling me shit kid, so... Seems in character, doesn't it? Want to do that at Station 41? Am I trying to recruit him to my station? Because if I am, and he's okay with that, then yes? Then yes?
Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of two captains with my doom-mongering.
No, I meant investigate. Come work in Precinct 41. Yeah, sure. No, come work with me. Kim, come work with me.
Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
A crooked smile quivers on his lips. Continue.
This truly came as a surprise to him. Not a bad one, but he's at a loss.
Continue.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
Yeah, we would. Continue.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
The lieutenant turns very serious all of a sudden.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to. Mountains, even.
She says with a smile.
I do like the sound of that.
Recruit Detective Kitsuragi, Precinct 57's finest. He returns her smile. She's gonna join my department. Continue.
He's really considering it.
He's really considering it. I got a skill point. I got one last skill point, and the next option says end on it. And for whatever it's worth, I'm putting it into empathy. I'm ready. End.
Good.
She looks at you, then Vicmer.
Fuck it, let's go. Trump brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
The man points down the street. Continue.
Under the evening sky, the great district turns on its lights. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls inside. Fire traps as far as the eye can see, from Main Street to Precinct 41 atop the motorway, to Boogie Street forking into the dark horizon. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time.
It's time.
Torsen? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmer? Yes. Du Bois? Yes. Really? Nick Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Potomley Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in his office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the people. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minnow? Of course.
It actually kind of chokes me up knowing that the captain has my back. Continue.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
The woman looks north. End. John. Thank you. Disco Elysium. What a game. Where do I even begin with this thing? This was one of the hardest games I've ever played. I've never, I don't think, played a game that made me think as hard as this one. And I don't even know if it mattered that I was thinking. For all I know, everything would have worked out fine if I had just chosen things arbitrarily. We still would have reached an end. Would it have been as satisfying of one? I don't know. There's so many dozens of hundreds of ways that this can go. Like, how did they possibly program this? And sure, there were bugs here and there where things got a little out of line, but like, overall, it was incredibly cohesive, and it self-referenced frequently. You'd have a one-off conversation about something, and then it would come up way down the line, and I wouldn't even necessarily remember. It's a freaking hard cop. I mentioned hard cop once, and now Estelle calls me that for the rest of the game. It feels organic. It feels real. Despite the fact that you're dealing with a guy whose brain is split into, 24 parts? 24 independent parts that sometimes work together and sometimes argue, which is not a terrible way of looking at someone's mind, particularly when they've been through what this guy's been through. Sure, there were parts of it that, like, the scene in the church, the way that it can go badly, I was really upset by it, and I wish that there had been a way to explore it further. Like, it makes sense that it happened, but I wish it wouldn't have just been left off there. And maybe, for all I know, maybe there would be other ways that it impacted the story that I don't know about. I'm just as happy that I went back and retconned it, but overall, what an amazing concept and what an amazing execution of such a concept. And the voice acting, now that that's on the screen, the voice acting was so good. Almost without exception. So good. It's also an amazing look at someone in the process of losing his mind. Or possibly having already lost it and trying to pick up the pieces. That's kind of the way I played it. But Mikey W. Goodman. Oh, and Linville Brown was most of the brain chunks were not the same one as the person who did the lizard brain, the reptile brain. I didn't know that. That's interesting to know. Sad scap, banger scap. Quite the names on some of these people, yeah? Oh. But we made it through. We made it through all of that. It didn't die, and yes, some people did die, but we tried to minimize how many people died, and we tried to do good by people. And it felt like we tried, and it felt like there was a reason for it, even if it didn't actually matter in the greater scheme of the games. It felt like it mattered to the people you interacted with. I hear that basically you can play this game twice, and the second time you play it, it'll be entirely different from the first time, provided, you don't invest in the same stats and parts of your brain, I've heard that if you have certain psyche stats or something, your tie becomes sentient and talks to you and gives you bad ideas. Like, there's so much of this game that I haven't even seen, despite trying my best to see as much of this game as possible. You can't see it all in one playthrough. It's too big. Also, this song's good. I'm guessing this is one of those ones that it would have lyrics if it was the full version, because most of the soundtrack was done by the same group, the name of which I actually forget. But yeah, most of the tracks in this game are no lyric versions of their songs, as far as I know. It was probably already on the screen once, the name of that group. Since we're in the final cut credits now, I assume it's already passed, but just a really amazing game overall. Mind-blowing in a lot of ways. And yeah, admittedly, there's no way to predict the plot of this game ahead of time, because how could you possibly know about the presence of the sniper on the island? There's no possible way you can get that from the rest of the game, I wouldn't think. Aside from that, you have the idea of checking for sniper positions on the island. That's as close as you come. Unless I'm wrong and there are indications of him. Now I'm curious if you go around actually looking for it, if you find anything like that, if you know what you're looking for going into it. Huh. I wonder. I don't think I've ever had a series like this one where the amount of times that I had to take extra time to get the stuff ready for the channel, take extra breaks, expected or no, because this game just took it out of me. In a good way, but also in a bad way. Like, the energy requirement going into every episode of this game was on a rather a different level than most other games I've ever done. Because this game will blindside you. Some days, you know, you'll walk around, you'll talk to old men, you'll read books, nothing particularly remarkable will happen aside from that you're somehow moving despite everything. And some days, it blows you entirely out of the water with basically no warning whatsoever. Because you're traumatized, and because the world is difficult, and because people are suffering, and sometimes that suffering hits you in the face. And you have to deal with it. It seems like there is a decent part of Perry that doesn't like the fact that he's a police officer, but the fact of the matter is he still is one. And he went to a lot of trouble to continue being one at the end of the game there. I have no doubt whatsoever that there are outcomes of that trial where they fire you right there, and that's an end on it. And you lose everything right when you think you had everything, provided you even had everything, because I suppose that factors in as well. Did you solve the case or not? And if you didn't, that's it for you. I have no doubt of it. This is going to be a really long episode. I should have done two, huh? I should have split this into two. Maybe stopped on the friggin' dock when I got back from the island. I think that was an hour and a half ago when I got back from the island. It would have worked out perfectly, but I had no expectation that there was another full, nearly 2 hours waiting for me just beyond the dock. But maybe I shouldn't have been surprised by that. This has been a truly exceptional experience. Particularly for a point-and-click adventure game. Like, I've played point-and-click adventure games. Never one with the caliber of writing that we had here. And consider, this wasn't written in English, I don't think. Was this Ukrainian? Do I have that right? Was it simply localized into English, or did they write it in English? That I don't know. Either way, I have to assume that there's a certain amount of English as a second language going on. And this was one of the best written games I've ever come into contact with. Period. It has one of the most robust looks at the experience of being a human that I've ever seen. Mankind, be vigilant, we loved you. That's a heck of a final message. Past tense even. We loved you, huh? Oh. It's over. I kinda can't believe it. And there's definitely part of me that wants to know what happens next. But the fact of the matter is, events have been set in motion in a particular course, and we worked very hard to correct that course to something acceptable as best we could. Both in the sense of the crisis going on in the city, and in the sense of the crisis going on in Harry's life. I'd worked very hard to try and help on that front as best I could, you know, in as much as I can, meddling with the life of someone else whose experience I go into it specifically not knowing anything about because he doesn't know anything about it himself. I feel like I could talk about this game for a really long time, but it's already going to be a 3.5 hour long episode, so maybe I better wrap it up, huh? Things get really tricky when discussing the creators on this game because there's been a falling out with their studio and all that. So perhaps it doesn't make sense to thank Zaum themselves, but at very least, thanks to the creators of this game. They really made something incredible. The likes of which I had never experienced. And thank you to you for watching the past 72 episodes. I have to wonder, there were sections of that game that were gated off by checks. I wonder if some of the checks that I failed, if I actually missed huge swaths of this game and I never even would know it, unless I were to play the game again. I have no idea. But I gotta wrap up. So, thank you again so much for coming with me on this journey, if you want to put it that way. For experiencing this with me. I'm Sharky. This has been Disco Elysium. And I'll see you next time.